beyond the splattered grave.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Splattered Graves. Yes, I know we're late. We're catching up. It's been an odd week because obviously we had to reschedule last week and now we're on an off week. So it's a little different. Things have been, I think actually that means we haven't talked face to face in person in 3 weeks. So maybe that's why it feels like it's been a while. Mm-hmm. Love it.
What up, guys? Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. I may have to dip out early, just a heads up to some of you. So I know that's going to break everyone's hearts because everybody knows me so well.
What's happening? What's happening? Oh, what's happening, Russell? What's happening, Mama Bear Annie? What's going on? Eli, welcome. What's up? What's up? Hey, all right. So, yeah, we got a bunch of people in here ready to talk about the dark and the wicked, but obviously we'll do some news and some other things first. I think that's how we said we'll structure these, right? If I remember correctly. Yep. Do a little bit of intro stuff and then...
Yeah, because everybody hasn't seen the movie, so we're going to pretty much push them all out.
That's the plan.
Even though you got a couple of bonus weeks to watch this one. So,
yeah, really. If you remembered.
Yeah, because this is like our third time with this one, right? Because we had the original one and then Alex hadn't watched the movie or rewatched it. And then we had the off week and now we're back. So we're cursed, fellas.
Well, and we were supposed to do it last week, but then.
Yeah, that was the off week. I mean,
by the way, okay. Update on this. I didn't tell anyone publicly, but I told you guys, of course, the bunny was in a bad state. Bunny's doing great now.
Hell yeah.
He's soaring. Good. He's doing awesome. So. Yeah, we had to delay because we got some really bad news last week, and then it turned out it was a misinterpretation of something. So,
okay, good to hear that.
God, Evan, you guys can't read up there. What's going on, man?
It wasn't on us. It was a misinterpretation on the vet's behalf.
I can imagine. Veterinarians are all terrible. I hate anybody who loves animals. So, yeah, I'm going on my dark side arc because I've been watching nothing but awful films that hurt me for the last couple days.
On fucking coffee table.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just watching that before we went live here.
I watch it every morning just to get my day started. You know,
coffee table. Yeah. Alex, I gotta say, as much as I hate to admit it, it's a really good fucking movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like it's like it's to me, it's kind of like Hitchcock level.
Yeah, it was like I watched it the first time and I was like, that was like I respected it. I was like, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. Just like. Emotionally, and then I rewatched it and I was like,
well, don't spoil it because I haven't even seen your video yet and they need to watch it.
But then I was like, while I was working on the video, I started being like, God damn it, this movie's really fucking good.
I just wanted to say, like, I admire your writing in a lot of your videos, Evan. I know you put a lot of work into that, and I think you're a really talented guy when it comes to writing out your scripts for your videos. Jeez. But like I'm picking up on all these little, whether they're intentional or not, but like little jabs, little remarks throughout your video that are especially hitting harder. This one, I think it's a normal thing for you, but
we're intentional.
Oh my God, it's you're sneaking them in there, and I'm not having a good time.
Hey,
so.
The movie had all its humor through double entendres. I'm doing the same thing.
Also, can we talk about how you're an evil person for making me have to relive that shrieking and then the abrupt? Why'd you put that audio in there? That's awful. I didn't want to hear that.
We don't want
I was in the shower
because I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone.
I was just getting all warm and nice, and I was just like, man, I love listening to Evan's voice in the shower.
Nice, that's your fault.
And then that happened, and it ruined my day. So yeah. That's all. We'll expound upon that. Go watch Evan's coffee table video. It's really fun.
And watch my goddamn video about love. It's a different kind of love. It can involve objects and everything else. So it's a list of that.
That sounds
for Valentine's Day, you know?
That's actually great. I'm excited to watch that one. I saw you just posted it. So I see, like, we did a Valentine's Day list last year, and like it was like awful. It didn't perform. So I think
Yeah, I
that
don't know
kind
what
of
it is. I
that
think
turned
people
us
don't
off.
care about Valentine's Day in general. That's probably why.
Yeah, it really it turned me away this year from even like considering it mentally, of just being like, what could I do for Valentine's Day, like list wise or anything. Like the only thing that I think we could do really, and Luke and I still have to discuss it, is maybe we can finally cover the remake of My Bloody Valentine, because I actually
didn't
don't
even
like that
consider
movie.
this.
So I know Evan's not a big fan. Alex, where do you sit on the remake of that?
Of which one?
My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, I think it's fun for what it is. I've seen so much worse movies. I don't think it's as good as like something like Black Christmas. Like I think, when it comes to remakes, I think Black Christmas just edges it out a little bit, just because it's
Christmas at least,
consistent.
like did something like pretty different, with it,
Right.
which
Yeah,
was
that's
nice.
what I mean. I like the gore and the fucking ridiculousness of it, but I love the first movie. Like it's a hard movie not to
Yeah.
love, dude.
It's a fantastic holiday horror. Like it honestly, slasher in general. It's real. It's one of those slashers that just like, even though it came after a lot of the big ones, it's one of the things where it's like it just feels right. You know, kind of
Right.
like I feel the same way about that as I do Thanksgiving. Like I feel
Wait, are
like
we talking
they're
about the original Black Christmas or the original My Bloody Valentine?
the original My Bloody Valentine, but
Oh,
your
okay, 'cause you said
your
it came
mic's
after all
cutting
of
in and
this.
out, Evan.
Nice.
That's why we haven't, because I've seen your mouth move a couple times and nothing happened. So I was like, oh,
There's
Okay,
someone twirling a bunny behind you.
try switching to this.
what up, Necro?
They're
Welcome,
juggling
welcome.
rabbits behind you.
Let's
Could
see.
be.
There you go.
Is this better? I don't know if there was like a weird interference. I was trying out the earbuds, but
You should have known. No.
I think you're good now. Yeah, it's
Okay.
like, because before I swear you were like breaking off. Like,
yeah, because you were saying it came like after the others, and I thought we were talking about Black Christmas. Yeah, I adore the original My Bloody Valentine. That movie is so good.
Christina and I
Mhm.
watched it about a few months back, or maybe I think it might have been for last year. It's just been a while. But God,
watched
she
it
loved
after
it too, and
that,
she
so-
hates everything.
There is just also a cultural thing because it was shot like in the place I grew up. So there's like
Right.
just that it's very, very Nova Scotian.
Oh,
It's
yeah. No, that's fair.
very right on the nose for that. So like it feels very cozy to me.
what up, Big
Yeah, that's
Rod?
right.
Steven,
I just
what's
love
happening?
you got to
my
watch
boy?
the uncut version of it though, because
way
there's
better.
no way to watch it otherwise.
I'll
Because
never
like,
watch the theatrical version again.
Yeah.
Never. Ken,
Yes. What up, dude?
Yes,
what's up, Ken?
we're finally getting around to it, Ken. We did it. We got this one off the ground. I don't know if he's kept up with the fact that
I-
this has been.
I usually
in the works
watch
for a while.
Serbian film for my kid's birthday. Like we usually.
I'm
Serbian
a little
film-
worried now
wait.
that the coffee table is going to start opening up like a lane of requests for
Wait.
more disturbing movies, and then I'm going to end up watching a fucking Serbian film
That's
because I've never seen it. I know that you've both seen it. I've
that's
never
a
seen
movie.
It.
Yeah.
Well, you got to make sure you see the uncut one because
Well, okay, that's what I'm planning on doing. And
because then you'll have to watch it twice, and then you don't
I'm
want to do
actually
that.
taking one of your suggestions because I think if I do a video on the Serbian film, I have to do the Mr. Rogers bit. I think that's
Oh, dude, that would be amazing.
for that.
I really hope to see that one day. So
I'm saving it.
If
you
you ever
gotta dye
cover
your
like
hair
a-
black or something.
if you
That would
ever
be
cover
amazing.
like more of these disturbing movies, like if you talk about this one and then you do like Solo later on down the road, that should be like the recurring bit.
Yeah, I was considering doing it for this, but I got behind schedule and I didn't have time to like set it up.
No,
Did
you
I
got to
ever
make
tell
that
you-
thing a production when you do it. Like,
I will. I feel like if I'm covering something that fucked up, I have to try and make it as
Yeah.
light as I can.
That's a starter movie.
I mean, he's honestly not wrong. Like, I can say that
And for
with
now, I
good
mean,
faith
everybody always
now.
makes fun of
Yeah.
you for watching it. Like,
All
you're
right,
like, "What
fine,
shit,
I'll watch the
man."
wedding trough.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
don't watch that. That movie's
Um,
awful.
Did I ever mention to you guys?
I got a couple more I didn't really like either.
My first time watching Solo when I was like, I
Uh-uh.
think I was like 17, and I was like, my dad like had a video studio, so I would copy tapes, because like that's what we used back then, and
What up?
I had my friend had Solo. He was like, "You want to borrow this?" I was like, "Yeah, I have no idea what it's about." I put it in and I just started recording it. and my dad came down while I was transferring, and it was like a scene where all the like nude guys are like dancing around together.
Yeah.
And he was like, "So, what are you recording down there?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, dude! Like what?" I was like, "I do heroin." I'm just kidding.
It's like anything is better than this.
It's like
Anything is better
than this.
I know. It's
That's
he just
terrible.
he didn't care, but he was just like, "Dude, what the hell are you watching?"
Sure.
I went through those days, you know.
I don't think I watched many disturbing things like at my dad's
Early on?
house. Like, yeah, definitely. It was more like because I didn't
Traces of
really
Death,
start.
maybe.
I didn't really start diving in until like I was in high school. I know I was with my wife at the time because it was my wife, myself, and my buddy Jeffro,
What's up, Graham?
who we sat down and I got a copy of a Serbian film actually from buybacks from Luke's wife. Funny how it all connects here. But I got that. She had bought it and she let me borrow it. All three of us sat down and watched it, and we both were just like, by the end of it, just like, man, that's damn, I don't think it gets I don't think it gets worse than that. And then I've seen some others, like the ones I actually like Martyrs is always thrown up there as being like overly gratuitous
Doing a
and
video on that.
one of the darkest. That movie's actually like good. Like,
yeah, that's
a
what I was gonna
great
say. That one
movie.
doesn't
Like,
bother me as much as everybody.
I think
it's
it's
fucked up, but
it's got
the
a great
shotgun
story.
scene is amazing.
Dude, that whole sequence is like burned into my brain, bro.
I
Like,
know, that's wild. It's because it's, you know, it's the little ones.
Yeah, I'm looking
Oh, I
forward to
feel it. I feel it. That's I
But-
literally did a video talking about that. The Whale is a movie that got under my skin, definitely.
Do you remember The Professional?
Yeah.
They went after kids in that one.
Okay. Yeah. I don't. It wasn't like anything that explicit.
It wasn't
though, if I
that
remember
bad.
correctly.
I mean,
Yeah.
they cut away a little bit, but you see them
Mhm.
like, I don't know. They show a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
I just rewatched that for the first time in a while, and I was like, "Holy shit, she's so young!" Like, oh my god, she became so famous after that.
Yeah.
What's
with
her name?
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman, yeah.
Mhm.
I was like,
And
"Oh my
then,
god, she was such a good little like actress as a child." Like, my god.
I want to ask you this, Alex, because you're probably the one who would know about this. But
Hey, I reviewed Burning Moon.
How is Burning Moon? Because Steven's been telling us to check it out, and I've added it to my list.
It's a shot on video film by the German guys. I think I forget his name off the top of my head. He did the violent shit movies, I think.
Yeah.
Which I also reviewed.
Evan's like, what the hell?
But yeah, that one, Burning Moon, is actually pretty fucked up. There's like a bathroom scene that's pretty messed up.
Well,
it's been a while since I own it. It's like right there.
Yeah, Steven's been
Severn put it on.
hyping that one up in the comments for us on our videos here recently, and I have it on the list now. So I'm
not saying it's bad, but like I think some people who don't know shot on video might be like, "Oh, this is terrible." You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like most of the movies I've been watching recently, like there's not a whole lot of oh yeah, like
You're gonna climb out of this.
I can't show this thing to anybody. Like if I explain some of the stuff that I'm talking, like I can't off air. I mean, I don't even want to give that one away because I'm debating. The thing that's hard about this one though is like Serbian film was pretty straightforward. I feel like when I was discovering things, like I just went for like the most messed up of everything. But like for this next list I'm doing for Solo, it's like there's elements to it that I want to keep them on like the same playing field, because like if I do, like I could just easily say like, oh, August Underground, put that on there. It's like, yeah, probably a little bit more disturbing. I'd have to look at them, but like I don't want them to just be like so basic and so just like blatantly gross just for the sake of being gross. I want to find some connective tissue between the picks, and I think I found some good ones.
There you go.
Hell yeah. Oh, I love it. I don't oh, let's see.
it's been a while though. Some of the violent shit movies, like one of the first violent shit movies, kind of messed up.
Yeah, I agree with Ken. here.
It's
This is
rough.
definitely, yeah. I don't even know if I want to do this, but I'm going to. I actually had somebody commenting on my Serbian film video who was like literally trying to say like that I'm a baby or like that
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
I'm a bitch for thinking that SA is too far, and that they basically went into this whole diatribe about how murder and SA are all on the same level. So you should definitely like you shouldn't feel that way. Like you're wrong for having an opinion, basically kind of comment.
You gotta love that
And
stuff,
then
right?
basically just made himself look like the most criminal person ever. Just like
Well,
in their comment. Like they
Jesus.
were defending that, and I'm just like, bro, it's a personal thing. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's like people who can't watch movies where actual animals are killed. Like
Yeah, that's
that's
like
not something
terrible.
that that's
I
been
hate
something I've
that.
had to skip a lot of
Yeah.
over the last couple of picks I've been watching. But like it's one of those things where I completely understand it. It's like that's your personal opinion, that's your mega line. Not saying that one is worse than the other, but the fact that this guy was literally trying to say like, oh yeah, this is above this because you know that it was like, dude, one,
It's
you're
also just
being like misogynistic, and two,
Yeah.
you're also being just like a complete like I'm just more intense than you, bro.
Yeah.
Like I just watch
Yeah.
harder shit than you. Like
It's
almost that.
boner's bigger than yours,
If
dog.
you're like, hey, my movie's disturbing, and the reason it's disturbing is because you have like a bunch of SA and you're killing real animals on camera. It's like that's not impressive. You didn't do anything like that's anyone can do that. That's easy.
Yep, you did it, brother.
I
You
definitely
did the
don't
thing.
enjoy seeing any of that stuff, but I think like if it's real in general, that's just terrible. You know what I mean? Like that's like
And fucking Cannibal Holocaust has that like notorious example of that.
right.
Yeah.
I know. It's like there's a version that you can watch without it. So at least they include that now. You
That's
know,
true.
that way you can still enjoy the penis, cutting and all that other stuff.
There's still some fun stuff you can watch.
Yeah, all the wonderful other stuff that's in there.
Yeah, it's I definitely agree here with this one. I think emotional stuff is harder sometimes to watch than violence in movies. I think it's
You mean when
It's-
they nail like the real emotional
oh yeah, when
part?
like
Yeah.
just when
If they can
psychological
really
emotional
accurately
stuff happens.
portray like a terrible emotion.
Dude, I told you guys about this before, but you saw the movie Hosts, right? Hosts, plural.
Yes.
No.
Right. You know the dinner scene that I'm talking about?
Yes.
That wind up emotionally is a betrayal.
I'll have to check that
Like
out.
it is so fucked up. Like I think it's on Tubi, guys. If you want to see it, I think it was 2021, maybe
2020.
was it 2020?
Yeah.
Hosts, plural, not hosts like the
It was
found
2020.
footage or
It came out
live
the same
footage
year,
thing.
didn't it?
But watch
Yeah.
that. It is not a perfect movie. There's like a metaphor in it and all this other stuff. But there's the scene, man. That scene is probably one of the most like it was like a gut punch when I saw that. I was like, oh my God.
Mhm.
Like it blew my mind, dude. I was like, holy shit. But those
Yep.
guys are really cool too. The creators, they do like a YouTube channel.
That's a great example of it. Like Coffee Table was a perfect example of like you don't really see anything graphic in that movie for the most part. That is just like pure
The
emotional.
wind up,
torment.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all just like this. I think I said it in the video. It's like a knife's edge of panic the entire time.
Right.
That's what that movie feels
It's
like.
an unreasonable panic too.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, why am I panicking over this? He should just say it, you know?
Yeah.
I try to get my dad to watch it, and
Hell
he
yeah, Ken.
he won't watch it because he can't. He doesn't like subtitles. He like
There's
taps
not a
out.
single person in my life I would be able to get to watch the Coffee Table. Not one.
What really? Yeah,
No,
I think everybody should.
Not a single. There's no chance anyone in my family, none of my friends. Maybe I could get one of my buddies to do it. Maybe. I think I can get him to do it. He's kind of just my
Get
guinea
your
pig.
grandma to watch it. See what she.
Jesus.
Put her in the grave.
It's a fun movie. There's nothing bad in it.
She was upset when she saw that I was watching Pulp Fiction because she thought that
Oh
was
God.
so
I
Yeah, you
that's
don't want to
actually
expose her
probably
to any of
worse.
this. If that's something that she's gonna freak out about, then yeah, you need
no,
to.
I wouldn't do
I
that.
mean, just the GIMP room, like all by
It's
itself,
tough,
is
but
probably
it's-
pretty
yeah.
bad for grandma to see in the room with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking far from okay. That's a great line. I love that movie.
I'm gonna get some hard hitting,
That was a
pipe
stupid
hitting.
thing that Tarantino said recently. Dumb as shit.
Oh yeah, Tarantino.
Oh God, dude. Yeah,
What
bring
is-
it up. Tell him, show him what he said exactly. So,
okay,
Yeah.
I can pull it up.
So yeah, I don't have it pulled up, but I'm sure Dylan can get it. But he said something
That's
along the lines of like 2019 was the last year for movies, which just so happens to be the year that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out.
Yeah.
But like, how fucking like diminishing of all of the
Is-
incredible shit that's been made since then. And like, I love his movies. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love Tarantino movies. But Jesus Christ, what a tone deaf, ignorant thing to say. That just makes it sound like he doesn't watch movies.
I think he's trying to say that because the dynamic of theaters changed, but
Sure.
it's still like, like there's more than mainstream, dude. And you of all people should know that because
Yeah.
you've literally copied every underground fucking movie to be famous.
Yeah.
So why are you even just acting like you're only mainstream right
That's what I
now?
like. I'm actually liking what like Scorsese is doing right now because he's doing a lot to lift like current up and coming directors who are like showing promise, and Scorsese is acknowledging a lot of that. But yeah, this is it here. It's super dumb.
Yeah,
it's-
basically.
he's just no, dude. Yeah, that
Yeah,
kind of
he-
upset me. I was like, why do you got to be that way, dude?
By the way, just thinking about like creative movies that have come out. Did I tell you guys that I saw Presents?
Oh no, I didn't.
Fuck.
Was it good?
I loved it.
Oh hell yeah!
God, it was so good.
I've heard it teeters people, like
I'm
you just
trying
need-
to.
It's definitely going to be
trying
one
to
of
get
those
to
where it's
it.
like you're going to love it, or it's going to be just kind of like a nothing.
It's not
fart.
playing. It's not playing like close to Luke and I at all. So that's why we haven't had it reviewed.
Dude,
And
it
like
was
they're not releasing screeners for it still. And I'm just like, bro, like I want to see this movie so bad.
it was really cool because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and then like the whole movie, I'm like, okay, this is good, but they need an ending that's going to tie the whole thing together. And I'm like, this is really good. You get the last 20 seconds of that movie, and I was like, holy fucking shit, this movie's amazing. Like it really, really nails.
It does
the-
seem like something I feel like the three of us would all enjoy.
It's
I think
awesome.
it's got that right amount of stuff
Dude,
to it.
Still need
I've
to
been
see-
wanting to go to the theater, and it's been so hard. Supposed to go. I wanted to go see The Monkey, like for the early pass,
Yeah, I'm excited about
Mm.
that.
but I can't see it until like I think Christina's brother wanted to go see it, so we're gonna go see it for his birthday. So I could do a review, but it probably will just go on a weekly or something,
Yeah, I'm
I wanna
hoping
see
that
Companion. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I'm planning on going to see that. I still need to see Heart Eyes, and I want to see The Brutalist before it leaves.
I've heard a really movie that you guys should
Grace
check out
says,
if you got movie
Presence is
is
so good.
The Needle Girl, or what is it? The Girl with the Needle?
Okay.
Oh yeah, you just put up a
Heard
review
about
for that,
that.
didn't you?
I didn't, but I've been trying
No.
to.
What's the one
Uh,
you just put up? It was like the one with the girl with the wrappings on her face.
Oh, Looky Loo?
Yeah, that looks interesting. I want to see that.
Looky Loo is it's like a pretty much a straight, I don't want to say analog found footage kind of movie, but it's like it doesn't have any like real narrative. It's just a guy prowling around in women's houses and stuff.
Oh,
And he doesn't do anything surprisingly that you would expect.
what a wonderful.
But there
film.
is definitely some like raw death. You know what I mean? Like it seems real. Like, and I was kind of curious how they did it, because like there's some cuts in it that you just don't see. And I don't know
Mhm.
how
it's pretty
they
cool.
were able to get away with it. I'm
Seems
like,
like-
dude, how did they do this?
Yeah,
So-
we got a screener offer for that one, and I looked at it and I meant to request it, but I forgot because we've just been so
Yeah, just ask
busy
him, dude.
with like life and everything. Just like outside
You
of this and YouTube, just like we've been on a roll recently, so it's like trying to keep up with it has been like
Yeah.
intense. So I saw that, and I always like I get in this bad habit where I look at the date, because sometimes I get stuff like that and it's like, okay, I have a week. So it's like, can I do this realistically? Because I just don't want to like request screeners and then not cover them, because we've been really bad about that with a couple things. So it's like
Yeah.
I want to always reclaim that, and I just
It's
feel
part
like
of the reason I haven't been taking it, like seeking out screeners recently, because every time I get them, I wind up getting stressed out trying to fit a video into my schedule. So at this
Yeah.
point, I'm just gonna leave them, because I did it once where I like got one and didn't review it, and I was like, well, that fucking feels
Do
terrible.
you guys keep track of all the movies that you watch each year?
Yeah.
I tried last year. I got till about October, and then I totally forgot the last 3 months. So I have a letterbox list up on my private account, which for those of you who've been asking, I'm
Yeah, I have
not
it too. I've
able
just
to
been
share
doing it
right
in the
now, but I
diary,
will.
but I have watched
I just use the notepad app on my
like
phone.
50 films this year.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that's more than one a day. You know what I mean? Like it's
I
crazy.
mean, Alex is you're going through all those physical media things that you got, aren't you?
Well, and,
Like,
and plus I also watch stuff so I know if I want to put it on my weekly.
yeah, because that's what I
So
was
I don't
saying. That's
always
why
put
you're
everything on there.
because that's what motivated you to start your weekly 5 film thing. Because I really like that. I look forward to those
Well,
videos.
because
You're always putting
somebody
a diverse
donated
list
like
together.
an amazing amount of movies to me that I can't even go through, and it was like I needed to do something. So I needed to find like a way to be able to watch these movies and review them and not feel like a dickhead, not appreciative or something. You know what I mean?
Respect, yeah. I that's why it's just like Evan was saying there, like that. I hate when that happens and like things slip through the cracks. So we kind of have to do like our little catch up videos. Like I like doing those and they've performed well, but like they're just so hard to market because like the last one we had, it was like I was trying to make that like a series of videos, but the last one the movies were all like pretty subpar. But I still titled it the same of the series, like 5 movies you need to watch, just because like it's just stuff that's current and relevant. And then it was just like, yeah, they were all mid movies. So I was like, I just don't want to like, I don't know how to like talk about these because that's the thing that I hate is like sometimes there's just stuff that gets sent to us or we watch and I just don't know like what
I
to
don't
say.
review everything.
Yeah, it's like it's hard for me to keep up because like I
If
just don't know if I have enough to say about some things because it's like
right,
maybe it just didn't work
it
for me or maybe
happens.
it's just like I just don't feel it. Like I don't have
I've watched a lot
the
of
thing
films
for it.
that I want to give attention to. It's like I'll give attention to some bad films, like, and I feel bad about it a little bit. You know, like I don't want to like this is a 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 10. You know, but you got to do it sometimes. You know, it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I try to find the good in every film that I watch. So no matter, if it's I
Same.
try to scale things differently too. Cause like everybody's like, oh, they talk about, like The Witch and then it's like you're comparing it to Burning Moon. Like, how do you do that? You know what I mean? Like you have to like, it's like a sliding scale a little bit. So when it comes down to indies, like I go up a little higher for indies and I compare them to other indies of its caliber.
Sure.
Rather than all movies, you know what I mean? So
no, I feel you.
and I have so bad it's good scale. I have an indie scale, and I have the regular,
Sure.
it's good scale.
It's good scale. I
Is
like
it good scale? Yeah. Poon
Uh,
universe.
Steven brought up Pooniverse here, and I kind of like his energy with this, where he says he wants a new Blood and Honey flick with Rabbit in about Easter time. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, wouldn't it be funny if, like, they kind of played up on the Terrifier 3 thing for doing the holiday horror? That, like, for the third Pooniverse, they were just like, yeah, we'll do Easter or something like that, just a random holiday.
Yeah.
And then have them do their version of that. Like, I think that'd be kind of fun. In kind of like a chill way.
Terrifier 4 is around Easter for some of it.
Who
that'd
did
be
the
wild.
hybrid Jesus bunny in holidays? Do you remember that?
Wasn't that in that holidays?
Yeah, that's what I
short
mean.
film
The
pack?
holidays
Yeah.
anthology. They should do a fucking series with that. That was the creepiest, most fucking crazy looking thing. Ugh.
Yeah, no, that's
I just watched their Trickster too. Did you ever heard of the All Hallows Eve Trickster?
I saw All Hallows Eve had a new one out, but I don't think it was called Trickster.
Yeah, Trickster came out a year ago, but
right.
they have a physical media of it that's coming out tomorrow.
It's not related to the other ones, right?
Technically, it is.
I think it's the same people behind
Is it. The same people?
Like
it's
the back,
Terrifier
like a lot of the
2
background
producer.
people.
Okay, but it's not the same director or anything.
No. But there's 7 different directors in that, and then there's an Inferno one, which is another. It's like an anthology now. So
I mean,
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I think I should be fine considering it's out now and he's got his own thing going for it. But I don't know if Jake's been public about it, but I know that Chicken Man originally was going to be at least pitched to, or at least be like sent off to one of the All Hallows Eve people to potentially be in that.
That's awesome.
I think they ended up just kind of wanting to go a different route with it, is like what he told me. But I mean, that was originally what he was shooting for, as far as like trying to get that little short film in there. And I mean, they killed it. I don't know if you guys have seen it, because I don't think we've talked about it on stream here. But
Chicken Man, I've seen it.
oh no, yeah, I was gonna say, like, we haven't talked about it since everybody's seen it. So yeah, I thought he did a really solid job. Like I mean, I was there on set for one of the nights, but like it was they were really working their asses off.
For which one now?
Chicken Man. It's Jake Shortfilm.
Chicken Man.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken Man.
A killer with a chicken mask. It's pretty awesome.
Good job. I really liked it. I agree with
cheese grater was crazy.
I was about to say, I'm like, I agree with a lot of the people in the comments that he did the cheese grater better than Evil Dead did.
He did. Yeah.
So I gotta give him
By the
props
way,
for that.
Terrifier 4 is happening. I saw this in chat. Someone said Terrifier 4 better happen. We know it's happening.
It's gonna
I mean, we knew after 3, but he's also like posted pictures of the screen.
It's probably going to be a political one, though, right? I'm just kidding.
Well, the franchise has always been political.
I was fucking around.
Dylan's just stone facing that one.
I'm just staying on.
Man,
I'm
I've
staying
had
on
some shit
tab.
for posting that I had a Blue Sky page, so you never know these days, I guess.
I was gonna say, yeah, I have like taken Twitter off of
Terrifier
my-
goes to the White House. Something like that.
Look, I don't want to open this can of worms, because
Terrifier
everybody's
takes out
got their
the
own
Senate.
opinion on this thing, and I'm just kind of like, let's stay away from that one. This was our.
He wears a fight, dude. They would put him in a fucking. They would put him in a. They put him in the Samuel Jackson outfit that they had at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like he would wear the like Uncle Sam hat. Uncle Art.
I would like to see him kill somebody with fireworks. Let's be honest, that'd be
Hey.
pretty swell.
Happy 4th of July, y'all.
Imagine how he could fuck that one up for somebody
pretty
like
awesome.
Jesus. So he is on to something there.
Yeah.
Yes, we did also get that news. We can talk about that. We haven't talked
we'll talk
Terrifier
about
news in a few weeks, so let's
Yeah.
go, Evan.
I would
Over
also
you,
like to
Alex.
talk a bit more about Werewolf, because we've heard some other stuff at some point.
Yes,
What
I think we
part?
should.
What do you want?
We're going to talk about the Terrifier update stuff, and then we're going to talk about the
You have to tell
Werewolf
me, man.
from
I'm a
Robert
little
Eggers.
behind on that.
Oh yeah. There's some updates with 4, and there's some Werewolf news, both of which I'm very excited for.
Hell yeah. So take it away there, Evan, on the Terrifier updates real quick while I pull them up.
Yeah, so on Damian Leone's birthday, he decided to give us a present, and he posted just the title page of the Terrifier 4 screenplay with some blood spatter on it, and also gave some details about stuff, where he was saying that he is going to reveal Art's origin. And what else did he say? I don't remember exactly what the...
I'm reading through the article right now. So.
Yeah, well, it's on his Instagram, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
He
Then
posted a picture on Instagram. Let me just...
Yeah, here it is.
Let me pull it up. Okay, so yes, he's talking about the script is well underway. It is shaping up to be the most epic, horrifying, thrilling, emotional, and satisfying conclusion to the Terrifier saga. And then he says he's never been so excited to see one of his own scripts translate to the screen like this one. So obviously the big thing there is conclusion, because after 3, it was a little up in the air whether he was going to do 1 or 2 more movies, but he had been quite open about the fact that he didn't want to really go beyond that. So it seems like the plan is to end it with Terrifier 4. At the very least, end the arc with Art and Sienna. And obviously this is a major slasher franchise that's bringing in a ton of money, so eventually it's going to get picked up again. But Leone and Falcone still do own the rights. This isn't a situation where like the rights are owned by a major studio who can just sell them out to anyone. Like if there's more, he has to approve it. But this is at least going to wrap up the story that we've been embarking on since Terrifier 2, but you can count the first one as well.
Yeah, I don't believe it's the end, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it'll be the end for now. I think he's going to take a break
think
after
it's
maybe.
He's got to go to space
I
at least
do think it's
first.
going to end like Art and Sienna's story, which is what I want. Like what I was saying was that what I wanted was for them to end at 4, because to me, 1 was like a proof of concept movie. So I wanted a trilogy of this story with Sienna to properly wrap everything up. So it seems like we're getting that, and that makes me happy. I'm excited for that.
Hell yeah.
Yes, it's All
Yeah.
Hallows Eve, but I mean, like the narrative through line that we're following here is not including All Hallows Eve. That is not canon to this franchise.
Mm.
Damien Leone is right up there with John Carpenter and Wes Craven. I
We gotta
would
see
say,
more before we
I
have
don't
to
know if
see
I can agree with that one.
yeah, I was gonna say, I would say we need to
Pump the brakes.
big thing that yeah, sure, but I think the big thing is we need to see what they do outside of just pure
Exactly.
horror, just pure Terrifier, because
Yeah.
that's the thing about John Carpenter that I feel like a lot of people forget is like just as many horror films as the guy did, he also did things like Escape from New York and Big
Right.
Trouble in Little China, which
Yeah.
had some minor horror elements.
Maybe his
but
big
were-
touch is like it's Art the Clown, and that's all
Mhm.
he's really got right now. And it's great, and he's doing a fantastic job of it. But we do need to see more before I think it can be like Wes Craven and John Carpenter status.
Absolutely. Like I would love to see him do some sci-fi stuff because I love the way that he talks about like his love for like aliens and things like that. So
yeah.
I would just love to see him tackle something like that. I want to see that would be, I think, a
Yeah, 'cause
challenge as far as just
Wes
like,
Craven and him
shooting.
alone have so many movies that are different from one another that are like,
yeah.
just so many different
For sure.
genres, subgenres, and stuff.
I need to actually see it before I can make any conclusions like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of like the impact
Happy
of
for him.
Terrifier, like you're definitely going to see Art. Like Art the Clown is now considered a horror icon.
Oh
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't
It's like
disagree with the fact that like in terms of this franchise in like slasher movie history, this is the most impactful thing we've had since Scream. It's not even close. There's nothing that even touches it.
yeah, no, I'd agree. I
Mhm.
think this is one of the big like people might argue with you actually instead of Scream they might say Billy Puppet, but I feel like that took so long.
I get those comments from Terrifier. I don't consider Saw a slasher franchise, so I don't count that as a slasher icon.
It's definitely a horror. It's a psychological franchise,
For
like
sure.
psychological gore franchise. I think it's one of the more elaborate franchises
Totally,
that there is.
but it's not a slasher movie
yeah.
to me. So I don't consider Billy
I
to be
don't-
a slasher icon.
Scream really, I know a lot of people love it, but I just I
No?
can't get behind the icon thing with the mask thing. It doesn't fit for me.
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
Scream is like
I
a
hate to
franchise
say
that
that, but
I enjoy those movies and they're fun, but it's not like a franchise that I'm super.
it's not
passionate
Freddy
about.
Krueger, man.
I'm
No,
sorry,
you know,
'cause it's a
that's
different
my
person
baby,
every
you know what I
time.
mean? And that's what's scary is like a lot of people don't even know who Freddy Krueger is. They may know who he is, but a lot of kids are growing up. They don't know that shit. They know art.
They know
You know
art.
what I mean?
I had
They
my,
know Halloween and know art, and
I
that's
had my
it.
art shirt on Halloween night, and there were like children being like the Terrifier. I was like, what the fuck is going
Right?
on?
Yeah, they like it, dude.
Yeah, dude, my son went as Art the Clown for Halloween. Let's not forget about that. He's never seen the films. Mind you, he is 2 years old. I've never shown him the films. He loves the
He'll love
character.
the
He
bedroom
sees
scene.
him on my t-shirts. He sees the stuff that I bring because like especially because you know how many like goofy little plush and like little anime character versions of Art the Clown there are, where it's just
So
like
many.
we're going to the store and
He's
he's
so
seeing like
caring.
Art the
He's
Clown
super
is like
caring, dude.
in like a plush thing and all that, and he's just literally my son became
Yeah.
obsessed with him because of that. So
I mean, you can see like the mask. Like, look at that fucking bar scene from 3. He's impossible not to love. That was adorable.
oh, it's so great. That's my favorite scene in
Yeah.
that movie. I swear to
I'm
God.
curious. You're gonna have to videotape when he watches part 2. Like, I really want to see what he does to the salt and vinegar scene.
Yeah.
Who, my son?
Yeah, he'll be like 20 by that time, you know.
Bro, like I told myself and I told my wife, like there will be movies that I'll obviously sit down and show my son when he gets
That's
older.
not
Like
one of them.
we're gonna
That's what I was
watch.
like, do you want to sit him down and be like, watch this, or do you wait till he discovers it on his own?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, that's the
so
thing,
like
like,
I want to show him.
Introduces that.
I want to show him like American Werewolf in London. I want to show him like Halloween. You know, kind of. I guess the stuff that my dad watched with me. yes, Poltergeist would be a great one. I could show him Poltergeist even at a younger age.
Poltergeist is an amazing film. Period. It's one of the best American ghost story films that there is.
Because like some of the best times I've had, like as a dad, my proudest moments so far. There's a lot of things that I'm very proud of my son for. I love him to death. But like getting to watch Gremlins with him this year. And him actually be like engaged in it and loving it. It's like that was so awesome.
Yeah.
He didn't really care for Krampus. It was too slow and too talky for him. I tried to skip to the monsters and everything, but he was just like, it's not Gremlins. So
that's more of a the Krampus is more of like a 13 plus, I think.
Yeah.
So
I was rushing. I was trying.
Krampus so much.
It's such a great one.
Svidania? What? Just kidding. You said you were Russian.
So stupid, so dumb. Why did it make me laugh?
Rabbit Grannies, yes, I fucking love it. Steven, we probably like a lot of the same movies, man. You keep bringing up
Steven's hardcore, bro. He's been commenting on our videos a lot recently, and
I've been wanting to rewatch that one so bad. I've got it since the Vinegar Syndrome release, and it's like finally the full cut because like what do you call it? Trauma won't put it out as a whole. And it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you have to get the Dutch release in order to fucking get that movie in its full. So,
damn, he's the connoisseur of gore for sure. Like, he knows, like, he was always like popping in on, especially the disturbing lists, and he's always being like, throwing his 2 cents into it and everything. But I love Steven for that. But one of the things that he just brought up, I wanted to talk about real quick, because I know you covered it not too long ago, I think, right? Because you got it on the Scream Factory like a year or 2 ago, is Dr. Giggles.
Oh, yeah.
Is that ringing any bells? Evan, have you ever seen Dr. Giggles?
No, but Steven just brought that up.
Yeah, I know. I was saying that. So, yeah, dude. That was one of those movies that I saw a part of it on AMC Fear Fest during the whole Halloween, whatever the hell. And I don't remember how old I was. I was maybe like 8 or 9. But there's a scene where I believe as a kid, he crawls out of his mom's corpse.
Yes. Yeah, that was a pretty wicked scene. It's a flashback scene too.
Yeah, and they still showed a good bit of that on AMC. And like I was pretty fucked up by that as a kid. I don't know. I did not like that. I turned that off. It wasn't something like Pennywise or like Leprechaun when I was real little that scarred the hell out of me. But I saw that part of it and I was just like, dude, like not me, bro.
That actor who was in what was it? The
Darkman.
Darkman, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was the villain in Darkman for 2 of them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the cooler villains in that whole fucking thing, though.
What up, Artie?
What a way to find out where babies come from, right?
Yeah, I think you popped in on that. Yeah,
my parents made me watch. It was terrible.
The Burnt Offerings scared me.
Larry Drake, yep.
Larry Drake, yes.
I like
absolutely
my favorite, and I haven't watched many and very recently, but it's those So Bad It's Good. And man, one of the biggest budget So Bad It's Good films that you should watch is Bats.
Oh, I love Bats.
Dude,
I've seen Bats.
You have to get the uncut one too, because like
Lou Diamond Phillips, right?
Yeah, they spent like Jurassic Park levels money for that movie. And it's like Lou Diamond Phillips and a scientist, and he doesn't make any sense as to why he's doing this nefarious stuff.
He's like terrified. There's like a guy who's terrified of bats in that movie, and yet he chose a profession working with bats.
He's a token guy too in the movie, which is like terrible. It's just so bad. But like, yeah, Bats for shout.
Yeah, I've seen Bats on Sci-Fi Channel growing up like a bunch, and I'm pretty sure at one point I got like a DVD from it. It was like in a pass box or like a dollar bin at one of the stores I worked at, because like I had it for a little while. I remember that.
So somebody's been genetically engineering these bats to kill humans?
I don't think.
Why would you do that? Because of science. That's why.
I would go back and watch that.
One of the greatest lines in history.
I love that.
The first power, yeah, it's a good one.
Well, speaking of bats, Nothing.
Batman.
We're gonna talk about Robert Eggers' new werewolf thing. I don't got a transition for that. So werewolves instead of bats. There
Speaking
you
of bats, the guy who just made a movie about a vampire.
Werewolf.
There's your transition.
Fuck you, Evan. Get out of here.
Fuck you, Dylan.
No, that was good. Yeah, no, this is exciting. This is cool. Actually, before I go to the obvious pick here, I need to ask Alex, how do you feel about this, bud?
Oh, I mean, I'm cool with it.
Okay.
I hope it goes fucking hard. I hope it doesn't hold back, and I
It
hope it
sounds like
doesn't
it's going to.
give me
That's what
blue
we're gonna
balls
talk
to the
about.
end. But yeah,
Mm.
like I think he's
So-
on a string of like interesting films all of a sudden. So I think maybe he'll like do more
Mhm.
with the werewolf. I think, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's
gotta ask,
opening up to more fantasy stuff than
Did
than
you
the
ever-
reality stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, Nosferatu is a fairy tale.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like, that's what I'm saying. He was more into the realistic side and kind of traipsing that, like riding that
Sure.
thin margin of reality,
Sure.
just on the cusp of it. So, like, I think he's now more into other stuff. Which Nosferatu, I didn't get to finish yet, but it was
That's
fantastic.
what I was literally trying to ask. I was like, did you finish that one? Because I was like, damn, this would be.
We were gonna watch it this week, and then all this other stuff happened. So I've just been like, "There's
My
just no
Blu-ray
way."
next week, and I'm excited to give it another watch.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
you
got
said
4K?
Yeah. It's apparently it doesn't release in Canada until March, so I just went on the American site and ordered it.
Dude, order from DVD Orbit.
Yeah, I've ordered from them. They're great.
Those guys will give you shit early.
Yeah.
like that's the funny thing.
That was the one thing about working at the media store I worked at. We would get a handful of new releases, usually like the biggest new release movie at the time. We'd get like a 4K and a Blu-ray for brand new.
Mm.
So like
Boone?
there would be a couple of times when I would be able to get like the new Avengers movies and stuff like the Friday before they would come out. So like I'd get them like a whole 4 days early. I felt like a complete badass. I was
Boone,
like,
I started to watch that movie by the way, and
See that.
a bunch of shit happened, so I couldn't. Like I had to do a
It's very
Valentine's Day list this week, so
Daniel
it's
keeps
definitely
telling-
going to be probably on the next list for next week.
That's one other thing we should talk about is the new Hammer movie.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
A
yeah.
couple things, then we can do Dark and the Wicked.
I think I'm excited for this though. I think Robert. I think we'll do a good job with this. I think he's going to do it in the way that will be appealing to the original as well as the new.
Sure.
Evan, go ahead.
Man, I mean, I feel like I was talking to Jake recently, and I feel kind of bad for him because like I've been following him talk about like Scream, which is his franchise, like that's his shit. And I feel like I'll say for the last two, every time he posts an update, he's like sad, and then I'm sitting here getting these like Nosferatu, and then he's making Werewolf, and now Flanagan's doing Exorcist. I'm like, I'm so sorry, man. Like,
And Labyrinth.
I'm like a fucking candy shop right now. Yeah, I'm looking for. I'm curious about that. I'm not like sitting here giddy, but we'll see. But yeah, the more time that goes on, the more I'm excited about Werewolf. But especially, I mean, just thinking about like the old werewolf folklore that I've always been so drawn to that I don't really feel like has been represented a ton in media. But we got some slight updates about this. So he recently addressed the movie at a screening of Nosferatu, where he said that the reveal of this was not meant to happen yet. This was a leak. So there was a leak that came out, and then I guess the studio was like, well, it's out there, so let's confirm it. So that's why we got details about like, the 13th century setting and the Old English dialogue and all this stuff. But the big thing is, from what we're hearing, this is going to be a really fucking dark movie. So he said at this panel that it is, here it is, the darkest thing I've ever written by far. Which is definitely saying something because his movies are pretty bleak. I mean, think about the thing that happens in the first 15 minutes of The Witch.
That was the biggest moment to me when I heard this news the first time. I was like, God, like Nosferatu gets pretty out there, man. Gets pretty
The Witch
pretty
opens
gross.
pretty dark.
It
Like,
does.
A couple minutes
yeah.
of that movie, some fucked up shit happens.
That's what I'm saying. I'm liking him opening up to some of this stuff.
And
That
so
makes me happier.
and also the big thing, because like you can get someone who like the person writing it might feel that more, But the thing that makes this seem more sort of plausible is that I think he's a production designer who's worked on every Eggers movie, said that he just read the screenplay. This was a couple days ago. He just put out something, I think it was on Twitter. He was like, "Hey, I just read the screenplay for Robert Eggers' Werewolf. Someone please send hugs." So like people who've been working with him for his entire career are like, "Jesus Christ, this movie's fucked." Which I think fits for a werewolf super well, because since this announcement, I've been doing a bit of a deep dive on some old school medieval werewolf folklore, and that shit is really messed up.
You're speaking to me, Janine.
Yeah.
Really, really fucking dark. And so it seems like he's probably just going to be diving into, I mean, it's no surprise he's going to be diving into the folklore of it. And he's pulling from some very dark sources. So we're getting a really fucked up Robert Eggers werewolf movie from the sound of it.
See, this is all I wanted from him, is to just open it up a little bit. You know, like, I get you got to start fresh, something new, you know, and do as much as you can while riding that line, all that. But now that he's like doing more, it's like more interesting to me. I'm enjoying his stuff a little bit more. Like, I was blown away by Nosferatu. I was like, holy shit, this is more dialogue than I've heard in most of his movies, like, so far. You know what I mean? Like,
I figured you would like his more recent stuff more than the Witch.
Christina and I were really into it, and then I fell asleep.
I can't remember.
Huh?
Did you see The Northman? I can't remember.
I did. I never finished that one.
Yeah.
I need to.
Because I've been thinking that like Northman and Nosferatu would be way more up your alley than Witch.
Right. No, and that's probably why it's not fair of me to say about his whole thing if I haven't finished it either. So
sure.
Yeah, Alex, those are movies that are a little bit more consumable. They definitely are a bit more, you know,
for my
I would say,
layman, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I think they're a little bit more normie based,
Right.
because you just can't handle him at his witch and his lighthouse, bro. Just
I only
admit
watched
it, okay?
Tarkovsky, but you know.
Man, I still can't stop thinking about Mirror. I saw that like a month and a half ago, and
I have that. I still need to watch all that.
And fucking Cries and Whispers, the Ingmar Bergman movie, fucking blew me away. I watched Cries and Whispers sometime last month, and that I've thought about it every single day since I watched it.
God, you're
I heard
such a
that
fucking nerd.
What's his name? Michael Haneke's got some really good stuff that nobody talks about called what's his name? The director, what's his name? Fucking the guy that did the Taiwanese zombie film, the one with all the crazy people.
Oh, Rob Jabaz.
Jabaz. He actually told me to watch The Pianist.
Oh, really?
No, the piano teacher. He said it's really fucked up.
Okay.
He's like, it really pushes the boundaries on some shit there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So to wrap this part up, I guess this is news that really excites me after Wolfman came out, because like I know Dylan, you really loved Wolfman, and I'm very happy for you.
Talk your shit. Let's go. Come on.
I'm not talking shit. I didn't even make a video on it. Yeah, this is something where it's like I got a werewolf movie that I found really disappointing, and now I'm getting news about a werewolf movie that sounds really not disappointing. So that's exciting to me. But this is obviously it's still going to be a ways. I mean, we got casting for Nosferatu like 2 years before the movie came out, so I wouldn't even be surprised if we started to get some more news trickled out for Werewolf over the coming months.
That's where I wanted to go with this, actually. So it's funny you bring that up, because I was going to ask you guys, who do you think he's going to put in this one?
Ralph,
you think we're going to see some more? Well, yeah, I know we're going to get that. We're probably going to get Defoe. You know, it's like, are we gonna? Who do you think's gonna pop up in this? Are we gonna get any returners? Anybody to come back? You think any Anya Taylor-Joys or?
I could see Anya coming. She was supposed to be in Nosferatu.
But yeah, she couldn't because of Furiosa.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if she was in this. But for me, I think the most obvious choice is Innocent. Like, I think Ralph or Einstein.
Well, yeah, he's gonna be in it, dude.
But like, he's gonna be so perfect for something like this. Just that voice fits.
Wouldn't it be cool if he was like, "Hey, you get to lead this one"?
I would love to see that. Like, because
he's technically the co-lead in The Witch.
He had quite a role in The Witch, but like, he's in all of them except for The Lighthouse.
I thought he was.
No, he's not in the lighthouse.
He's not one of the people at the. I thought he had like a. I thought he was like.
People at the beginning were production designers.
Okay.
Gotcha. But
Why not Javier Bardem?
that would be awesome.
I would love to
fucking
see
love
him
that.
work with him. Yeah.
I would love to see Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, Mikkelsen.
But it's not going to happen.
I feel like
Because-
Bardem would be a really good choice for the werewolf stuff.
Bardem,
Because
would
isn't
do
it
a great
Spanish
job.
anyway? Like a sort of the origins of the werewolf
Yes,
thing.
but this is
And French.
medieval England.
Okay.
So I don't know. It could certainly happen.
I'm thinking of the one where what's his name was a gypsy or whatever, and then he got bit, and then they go in the room, and then he breaks out, and then he has to leave his family. They're like, "We'll protect you." The old werewolf movie. I just can't think of what it is. Where they first did the first makeup, like the face. I can't think of what it's called. It wasn't the first movie.
Werewolf of London,
No,
or
I'm talking like
that.
30s, 40s.
that's
like,
what this was. This was in the 30s.
yeah, I can't think of what it's called. I know the actor too.
I don't know
just
how
can't-
you described it, but is it Curse of the Werewolf?
Yeah, I think that might be the one.
The Hammer movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Might
that's
wa-
cool.
it might be. I'm pretty sure it's Curse of the
From
Werewolf.
the 70s?
I like that one. Is it 70s?
Yeah, it's in color. It's the 70s. I just
a black
watched it
and
for
white
a
one.
list.
You're not talking about the Wolfman, are you?
Are you talking about Werewolf of London?
No.
That's
Not
the-
American Werewolf in London, but
Yeah.
Werewolf of London.
Werewolf of London came out in the 30s. It was or early 40s at least. It was before the Wolfman.
That's why I'm thinking it might be that.
Yeah. From what I understand,
No,
that
this
was
is
the
from
earliest
61.
werewolf movie. Okay.
Yeah, it's Oliver Reed,
Oh, so it was that. Okay.
but it was in black and white. They did. I guess they did a colored version, but I saw it in black and white.
Oh, I saw it in color. Well, fine. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I think, like, seeing some, like, talent outside of his pool, like, if there were
I
any,
want to see him work with more.
yeah, like, if there was anybody that I think would really work well for kind of like a, I guess an old English, werewolf movie in the 1300s, I'm trying to think of, like, people that I could realistically see working with him
Yeah.
who are also, maybe a little bit bigger stars too. Like
I would
maybe
love to see Tilda Swinton work with him. I think
that'd
that
be
she,
good.
She could fit in there pretty well.
Yeah, my head for this was kind of going with just because I know he's like really popular right now, but also seeing what he did with like Robert Pattinson, I was thinking like Timothy Chalamet would be kind of cool to see him go with that because he's worked with Denis, which is like one of my other favorite filmmakers.
Sure.
I think
I'm just
Barry
gonna like
Keoghan would work well with
Yeah,
that.
that's another great one.
Although Barry does like to go off script, and Robert does not. So
I'm a little
Talk-
overwhelmed by what's his name by fucking Chalamet. It's like,
All
come
right,
on,
whatever.
man.
Fuck you guys. Okay.
He's like in everything. He's in my cereal. You know what I mean? He's playing the part of the milk, which is pretty bland, by the way. Sorry. He's good and stuff, but I just don't like him in Dune. I don't know why everybody's so up his ass about that movie.
I thought it was great.
I thought he was
Fuck
all right.
you, Alex. Fine, man. I don't
It's
care.
like they tried to go, and I don't even like the new Dune movies that much. I mean, I like some of the action in it, obviously. But
Oh, you don't?
some of the characters, other than Javier Bardem,
Mm,
is pretty
Man,
bland.
You blew me away. That was
wow,
crazy.
Alex. That's really disappointing to hear.
Part one was boring as shit.
Part one was all set up.
Yeah, well, it was
Literally
toast.
entirely set up for
It was
part
like
two.
staring at toast.
Hmm.
There was nothing on the screen. Well, you can laugh. I don't give a shit.
No, I, was
I mean,
laughing, I was laughing at Dylan.
Mr. Boone thinks the coffee table sucks, so you know.
Really?
Yeah. You got mad at me about that. Well, not mad, but we had a little back and forth about it, which was
Well,
fun.
I just put up a video of glazing the fuck out of it. So you
Oh, he knows. He knows.
Sure.
He knows.
yeah.
No, I
Okay, well,
don't
that's
have any
the
problem with part
thing,
two.
but-
I'm saying like just Dune in general, like
Yeah.
it's not good to me. It's not. It's
Fair
not
enough.
worth watching.
Hey,
Damn.
It's like
you know how it is. We can't win them all, can we, guys? Can't win them all.
Like
Anyway.
sci-fi, I love those movies.
Robert Eggers werewolf movie. I'm stoked. Can't wait to hear some more about it.
Fuck
I want
him.
to hear more about Flanagan's Exorcist. We haven't gotten an update on that in a fucking while.
Well, we're gonna get one tomorrow now, so there you go.
Can we talk about this?
Go ahead. I don't care. It's your life.
You're
the magic
one. A
one.
clairvoyant streak over the last little while, where it feels like every time I mention something, it magically comes up in the news within the next week. Or like I'll schedule a video for a certain week, and then they announce a sequel the same week that it's coming out, or like a new release comes. Even the other day, Dylan and I were texting because it was like, where the fuck are our Art Attack box sets from Umbrella? We still
Fuck
haven't got them
Umbrella.
shipped out, and we ordered them the day they were announced. And then the next day, we both got emails about updates from Umbrella. So I'm just saying, I did it with Werewolf, literally saying I wanted a Robert Eggers-esque werewolf movie, and then like 3 days later, we got that announcement.
Yeah, it has been kind of creepy.
Keeps happening.
It was fun. It was fun. And then when that Art the Clown shit happened, and they literally sent us, you're like downplaying it because it was literally that afternoon. It was not the next day. It was literally like maybe 12 hours later. Because you texted me in the morning, and then as I was sitting on my couch, like just hanging out with my wife and kid, we're watching our show, I get a fucking email, and I immediately sent it to Evan, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's when shit got real and scary for me. So,
well, if we get Exorcist news this week, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Oh, we most certainly will.
I mean, we may get some of that, but I think the hype on that has died down so much. They're better off just like waiting
until something,
like,
well, at least some
way
casting.
later,
They
like
have to do
summertime or
stuff,
something.
I'm not saying a trailer, but I mean just some news. I want something. I want
Right.
like
casting.
we're gonna at least know the cast. We're gonna at least know some.
Because
Of
we
the...
have a release date.
Mm-hmm. It's next year.
And I think it's like in March of next year, so it's almost exactly a year out at this point.
We missed a comment, I think.
Did we?
Have you seen Contracted Phase 1?
Yes. No.
It's actually really good.
Okay. Have to check that out.
Phase 2 is with the guy, I think.
Okay.
Let me
It's a zombie film.
Say, all the time in Dune, showing how hard it would be to ride a sandboard. Instantly ride it is like public transportation.
I'm kind of with you, Russell. I really, I mean, I'm excited to see what he's gonna do, but I just like after all of the damage they did with that fucking Believer fucking movie.
I would fully agree with you, and I would have zero excitement for this if it wasn't Mike Flanagan doing it.
Right,
because,
that's the thing.
For me, he's like the only person working right now who I would want to see do an Exorcist movie. And this is like, I'm speaking about this from the perspective of someone who, like, my favorite movie of all time might be the original Exorcist. Like, I fucking love that movie. And I mean, Exorcist 3 is amazing, and then the rest of them go from like mid to utterly atrocious. So like, it does not have a good track record.
I like some of the newer ones because like where the guy has the knife or whatever, and he gets hit by the car, and the car like crushes in around him.
In Exorcist,
I'm pretty sure that was it was. Do you know what I'm talking about, Dylan?
No,
they find a dagger. They find a dagger that is cursed with some sort of like god. Oh, it's the fucking dagger that Jesus Christ got stabbed with. What was that from?
It's not in an Exorcist movie,
wasn't it?
No.
Maybe I'm getting confused then.
I think you are.
It almost sounds like you're talking about
Did you combine the Omen and Immaculate?
No.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're right. It was Constantine. But there's a similar thing that they did in one of the Exorcist movies that I get confused with because it starts off in the desert, and I think that's why I'm getting confused.
Yeah,
not the original Exorcist, but the later ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, Dominion and Exorcist Beginning both open in the desert because they're the same story. It's fucking weird.
Well, they try, yeah. They do that in Exorcist as well.
Two directors, same story.
Yeah, it was a really weird situation. I'm excited for this just because it's Flanagan, and I think he would handle this material so well. But what was the other news we wanted to talk about before Dark?
Remember what I said about Kim though? Is that I wish that he would just do his own movie instead of somebody else's.
I agree.
Like, I want to see what he does on his own, not.
I agree. I definitely want to see him do something because, like, Was Hush the last time that Flanagan? No, Midnight Mass, but that was kind of just Salem's Lot, um, in a lot of ways.
It's cooler, in my opinion.
I agree. I think Midnight Mass is better, but yeah, I mean that was original, but Hush he hasn't really done a ton of it, and I think he's phenomenal at adapting things. Like he clearly understands something about Stephen King stories that most people who are adapting Stephen King stories don't. And like for me, it's like I use Christine as an example, even though I really like that movie. Where like John Carpenter's Christine is a movie about a haunted car. Fall of the House of Usher was not original. I mean, it was a very original twist on a story, but it was still an adaptation of a story. And I loved it, by the way. I'm not dissing Flanagan. I fucking love his work. Fall of the House of Usher was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, that's
and
one of my favorite
It's
shows.
very
Actually,
unique, but it was still an adaptation, just a loose one.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite like early perks we
great.
got, like doing a well, we did Fantastic Fest. We got to see that like 2 weeks before it came out, and that was like one of the
I was so
ultimate like
jealous.
that's like one of those like all-timer moments from doing YouTube so far where I'm just like
Yeah,
that's gonna stick out because my wife and I binge watched that all 8
Yeah.
episodes in like 2 days. So it's like that's one of those series that was just like this guy fucking knows what he's doing, man.
It's great.
Like it's great.
so
Like it's so good.
But what the hell was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying.
You were just, you know,
I was
no,
rambling.
it was just a random thought.
Yeah. Anyway, I love his stuff. I would love to see him do some original stuff, but I'm also excited to see his Exorcist movie because I think he could.
I
handle
still
that
like the
material
beginning of
seriously.
Before I Wake, but
hell, I did want to mention, and then I
Right.
guess we can hop into the movie real quick. Is I did get to
The
check
Canker
out
Man.
a little bit of a film early that I wanted to just kind of talk about. It's still under embargo, so I can really only give my social media reaction. But the Gorge is coming out this week, and I just want to say, in case people don't see our review before it comes out, because we're on embargo till Thursday. Usually not a great sign, but I watched this over the weekend, and I got to say, I was really impressed because I went in honestly a bit negative on it. Not saying that like I was expecting it to be awful, but I was just kind of like, I don't know if this is gonna like hit for me like the Black Phone or Sinister did or anything like that. But it's a very different film. It's really cool. I love a lot of the concepts that it brings into it, and my wife I think explained it best when there's a section of this movie that feels like you're at an arcade playing that like House of the Dead game or like one of those rail shooters where it's just like there's this threat and then there's this
That's
thing
awesome.
and it's so
Kinda like a roller
creative.
coaster.
It's so fun.
excited.
It's just like it when you see it, you'll understand what I mean. I'm not saying like it feels like they're doing that. It's just the concepts they're playing with. It's like I have not seen this like actually brought to screen. I've only seen this in like video games or like stories and stuff like that. Like it's really cool to me. I like what they do. Evan, this is kind of big stuff to say to you, so I need you to understand I'm only saying this because this is what I felt. There's elements and sections of this movie that genuinely feel like they come out of a Soulsverse game. It's really interesting. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that.
It definitely felt like there was more going on in the trailer, like than they led to. That's for sure.
Compare something to Souls, you get me sold.
I really want you guys to watch it because like I
When
enjoyed
is
it.
it?
I got
When is
Luke's
it?
reaction this morning. He also enjoyed it. I will admit, I like that they take their time to set up the story. The midsection is all the best part. It's the meat. It's the gold to me.
Uh-huh.
The third act is satisfying, albeit a little cheesy.
I gotta say,
That's all I'll
I
say.
kind of figured.
I adore Miles Teller. So
Yes.
like put him in a movie and I'm gonna want to watch it.
And they're
Yeah, dude,
excellent.
you ever seen
Anya Taylor-Joy
Spectacular
and Miles
Now?
Teller are excellent. I will
I
say
mean,
that.
who
and that's
doesn't
it.
want to see a horror movie about snipers in love?
Have you ever seen either of you seen The Spectacular Now? That movie with Miles Teller.
I love
and-
The Spectacular Now.
Great. So good. Miles Teller's fucking
I
phenomenal.
went to the theater to see that twice when it came out.
Great movie.
I need to
All right.
talk to you, Dylan, about RLJE
Okay.
because I need to be on the Ash thing.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm so
I'll make
excited
sure
for
to
that
keep us in
Please,
that.
it's the only one I care about. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I can keep you in the loop on that.
Alright.
I haven't asked for it yet, but I'll be getting to soon
I
because
don't.
it comes out in
I
March,
have the
right?
contact, I think, but I just haven't in so long that it might. You know.
No, they're good people over there. I didn't request anything for January or because January the only thing that was big was Dark Match, but we'd already seen that because we all went
Right.
to that festival, so I didn't request anything there. And then I did not realize that they have one coming out that we almost got to see at Fantastic Fest this year called The Dead Thing.
Yes.
Did not get to see it
I
yet.
saw that. I saw that.
How was it?
I gave it a 6.5.
Okay.
7. It's a relationship horror movie,
Mhm.
and it's that's gonna make or break a lot of people. So
Yeah.
it's
So like that was the thing. Like I think I asked for it, but they never got back to me on that. But we had so much stuff going on this year with like
I don't know. I
Beyond
think I got
and
a Hail
everything.
Mary at the end there, and they were like, "Here you go." And I
Mhm.
was like, "Okay."
It happens. We got the same thing for Little Bites. A lot of people didn't get Little Bites, but we took an interview and they
Right.
gave it to us. So it happens.
There's a
Just
lot of
like
stuff
with,
we saw last year that's coming out this year, which is crazy. I really
Just
want to
like-
see Dead Mail. I heard that's really fun for an indie.
just like with you and Frankie Frico at Fantasia, how it's like you asked and like I went and asked the next day and she was like, we're all booked up. It's like, damn, Alex slid in there right at the
Yeah.
fucking perfect time.
I was like, well, why don't I just ask them? I was like, fuck, wait, going to the event. I'll just ask them.
But yeah,
So.
yeah, I think you want to start
We could
talking
do
about
our
Dark and the
review?
Wicked?
We should probably get to it. Yeah.
Guys,
all right.
forewarning. If you've not seen The Dark and the Wicked, don't
We're doing
worry.
all spoilers.
You can watch it on Shudder and then come back tonight and watch our review of it. It'll be here on the Splattercast channel.
Yes.
And let's also not forget that today is the first day that we are also simultaneously streaming to the Beyond the Splatter Graves
That's
channel.
right.
So
about that.
that means that this VOD will be saved there. And I just want everybody to know we have that channel now. So you can all subscribe to that if you just want to have like the collection of BSG videos after this point. So it's basically just going to be a spot where we keep all of the VODs. So that way, if you ever want to rewatch something, you don't have to just like be like, which channel was that on? What week was that? You know, you don't have to do the math. We're still going to rotate channels and we're still going to multi-stream to that. But that's just so we can store everything over there.
Yeah, and Artie, yes, you really should. Up. I was kind of mid on it. Not mid, but like I wasn't over the moon about it as much as everybody else was. But my second watch or my third watch, I was like, oh yeah, this is actually fucking good.
Yeah.
So
And this
spoiler
is
alert
fun for me because it's the first video on my channel.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 6.5 or a 7 at the time, but it went up a lot. Like, and I really like the director too. So
He's great. Very excited for his new movie.
Yes.
It was coming until recently.
Cannot wait. What is it called? Something's like one word.
Vicious.
Vicious. Yeah, that's right.
And then it got pulled from the release schedule as soon as I found out about it.
Right. I wonder what's going on with that.
I liked it enough, but religious horror doesn't do anything for me. I don't know if Dark and the Wicked is really religious horror.
It's more it has religious stuff in it, but I would say it's more Lovecraftian. So which is a little bit more not
I'm curious
religious.
to talk about this, yeah. Well, shall we begin?
Yeah, you guys can start. Evan, since this is your pick, you start us off. I'm just pulling something up real quick. But
Cool.
Let's talk about who made it, what it's about,
Yeah.
and then we'll just as a refresher.
Certainly. So, The Dark and the Wicked. This is a movie that you can find on Shudder. I believe that it was a Shudder original. From writer-director Brian Bertino, who you may have seen from The Strangers. So you probably know going into this, expect something dark and bleak and upsetting.
Not the new one, by the
rather
way,
wicked,
guys.
I would say.
Just characters from that.
the original one. But yeah, I mean, this was something where I can remember just scrolling through Shudder and I saw this image of the silhouetted woman floating up above this rickety looking tree, and it was called The Dark and the Wicked. And I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. I like that. And so I threw it on, and this is a movie about a pair of siblings who are essentially returning to the farmhouse that they grew up on because their father is in declining health and they want to be there for their mother who needs support at this time. And some dark things happen, some wicked things happen, and it's one hell of a memorable thing. I think it's it's a pretty fucking wild movie that definitely holds a special place in my heart just because it was the jumping off point for the kinds of videos that I'm doing now. There were a couple things I had done on the channel before that are privated videos right now. It's like a trailer reaction or some shit like that. But this was the first like video essay I ever made, so I have a bit of a soft spot for it.
Yes, and this was my first time watching this movie. This was a
Really?
couple weeks ago. Yeah, I had not watched
Oh, I
this.
thought you'd seen it before. What the
No.
fuck?
I know.
Nope, this was a fresh watch for both myself and Luke. Just a couple of weeks ago. We had both missed it. We did not see it in 2020. We knew of it. I mean, I had seen this image a million times, and then of course with obviously Evan's video there, that was something that kicked it off.
Had you seen my video? I hope not.
No, I knew of your video. I just hadn't watched it because I started watching you at Halloween Kills, and then I just never went back to that because it was a movie I hadn't seen and I didn't want to be spoiled. So
Right.
but I knew that this was like the jumping off point for your channel and all that, and that had a lot of value to you. Ken was also another person who was speaking this up.
We're gonna have to hear your thoughts on it first, then, because like you're like the newbie.
That's what I'm getting into. I'm just
Okay.
setting it up. Yeah, no, this was great. I really have a hard time with religious kind of coded horror. I think a lot of it's really samey. I also have kind of a thing for possession horror where it's just like I'm always thinking about like The Nun and all the other Conjuring verse stuff and all the stuff that came out around that. This felt very much like When Evil Lurks to me. Not as like insane, but certainly having a lot of the same energy, a lot of the same vibes. The curse felt unique to its own to itself, but was also something that I had the same kind of undertones that like we are on a path to hell and there's nothing that's going to stop it no matter what happens here. And it's really, really interesting. I really did love the cast. I thought that they both played off of each other really well. As we get into spoilers, I'll talk more about my thoughts and feelings of how that all transpires at the end. I get very frustrated by one character specifically. But overall, I mean, revisiting The Strangers earlier last year before the new one and just being like, damn, Brian Bartino, definitely somebody I should be keeping an eye out for. And now seeing this, I think I'll be there day one for anything the guy puts out.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this was extremely well done, very solid. Happy to finally check it off the list.
Fantastic. Glad to hear that you liked it.
What would you score it?
On the Splattercast score, I'd definitely give this a solid recommend. I'm gonna have to sit with it and watch it a couple more times, but it could potentially go into must-see territory. The more I pull from it, because I've watched a couple of like video essays since then, and they've given me some more thought and insight and things I want to go back and re-experience, reanalyze. So, but the fact that I want to rewatch the movie is huge. So,
totally. Yeah, this is one of those like it kind of leans into the trend of things after. What year did this come out? Was it
2020?
2020? Yeah, so this was kind of in the wake of Hereditary, where a lot of movies were trying to explore like very dark familial horror. And I think what's really cool is that they shot the Lodge as well. They shot this on Bertino's actual childhood farm. So there's like a personal touch to the production there where he's shooting in his home basically. And I think that you can really feel that. But this was a special one too, because I remember while I was editing the video, there were certain moments that while I was editing it having to rewatch the clips over and over again was really starting to get to me. And it was very impressive to me how no matter how many times I would sit there and loop these clips while I was editing, it would never stop freaking me out. Particularly that shot when the brother looks out the window and sees his mum floating
Coming.
in the distance. That is so fucking bone chilling. And I think they do such a good job, particularly at that nightmarish imagery in this. There were so many moments in this movie where I feel like I go like, I've had nightmares that are exactly like this. Like when the dude goes into the RV and just the way that she's moving and the way she's speaking, but you can't hear what she's saying, and it's very unsettling. And to me, I'm like, that's fucking nightmare fuel right there. And that's a feeling that I think as horror fans we're always chasing, and it's hard to sometimes get it because we're exposed to so much of this stuff that we just kind of become numb to it. But this movie certainly got under my skin.
Yeah, it's definitely really good at setting up all of the, like, again, the possession stuff. There's more teeth to it, there's more meat to it than what I'm accustomed to, and that's honestly what I need out of possession nowadays. I need something that's kind of like, you know, more than just the simple it's the devil. And even if that is it, you know, if that's what it is, which this movie very much is trying to say, it's like this is one of those things where to me it's like they earn it because they do so much legwork that's unique and interesting to get us there.
Yeah.
But they're not doing anything that's like absolutely wholly original. Like, and I only say that for like, I'm not saying this is wholly original, but like it doesn't have one of those moments to me where it's like in When Evil Lurks with the dog, obviously. It doesn't have that scene.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
it's still holds enough of that, like,
It's just this constant sense of dread.
Yeah.
It's
They
the
did
dread
really well,
thing.
yeah.
Because like I read a couple of things on Reddit about people who were complaining about the movie and saying that they didn't really like it because, you know, it just is not his hopelessness. And I'm like, dude, that's like some of the best movies because
totally. That's what works about it.
yeah, it's like it's a movie that is like made to say that sometimes you just fucking die. There's not anything that you can do. And like you're not going to be safe, and like even if you want to be there for somebody, because it's essentially a story about being there with somebody when they die. And like the mom says in the beginning, she's like, you should not be here. What the fuck are you doing here? And they're like, no, but we, you know, family, and family stays together.
Yeah.
And how we all have this sense of,
But you don't know what that actually means.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like she was trying to save them from the fate that they all experience, and everybody dies alone, and how you can't escape that no matter what you want. And I think that's a very dread filled kind of feeling to think about, that no matter what, you're just going to die alone.
Really, like the two things that really kill me, like with what you're saying there, it's like that scene when the brother leaves at the end of the movie, the phone call that she makes to him
Right.
is heartbreaking. Her performance there is so fucking shattering. Like
Right.
you just hear this like abandonment and betrayal in her voice, and he's just like, I gotta do what I gotta do.
I got to be for my family. That's what
Bro,
matters to me most. Like,
He's-
sorry.
The scene at the we're in spoiler territory. Holy fucking shit! His death scene in this movie blew. I was watching this with my dad and my brother, and I remember when the reveal comes that his family was not in the room and that was a hallucination. My dad and I start cackling hysterically because we're like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever. And I look over to see if my brother is laughing too. He's not laughing.
You're laughing.
I
Jesus.
look
like, oh,
over
this
and I
is
just
fucked
see him
up.
staring at the screen like just freaking the fuck out. It is such a well done reveal there. They do such a good job of the hopelessness. Even the final beat of the movie is so fucking bleak. It's just dread.
Well,
it's amazing.
It's a very well done rug pull, essentially, where it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, you're so caught up with what he's seeing at first that you're not even like registering, oh yeah, this could very well be a hallucination. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like it's so on the nose with the timing and everything. I think it's a very beautifully paced scare that earns it.
There is no safe space
No.
Mhm.
in this movie.
Yeah, you don't. There's
Even
really no
with
way
your
to
loved
win. You know what
ones,
I
you're
mean?
fucked.
Yeah.
How to win would have been leaving when, like Alex said right at the beginning, when she said, "Don't be here."
Right.
Maybe if that.
I thought
But
the scene where the dad, when she rolls over and the
mhm.
dad's on the ceiling or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, typically I don't like shit like that in movies because it reminds me of, like, you know, even in Hereditary, I was a little weirded out by like a scene that they did that was kind of like that. I was like, that's a bit much. But it worked in this movie, and I like the shower scene, and like there's a lot of things in the movie that a lot of people who do not like the film don't like because it doesn't answer questions. And to me, I've always been a fan of like the H.P. Lovecraft thing of the fear of the unknown.
Yeah, same.
And I think that a lot of people these days, they don't really understand it. I don't know why. And I'm not saying a certain age or anything like that. There's just a large chunk of people that are just not satiated with just feeling the vibe and just not having all those answers. Those are the kind of movies that stay with me and make me think long after and feel that vibe, is when it doesn't answer the questions.
I mean,
all
that
at
was the
once.
entire point of Tarkovsky's whole filmography. He was like, I don't give a shit about the story. I literally just want you to feel the feeling.
Yeah.
And I think
mean,
like,
if you
something
can make
more
a
with
film
it.
that can make somebody feel, that's an achievement, period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, you get so many of those moments here where it's just like, what, like with the priest character,
Love
what is
that.
going on with this guy? The way that he says that line where he's like, "Come outside," I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking.
It's
chilling.
already here.
Yeah, and then you
It's
get
like, what the fuck?
You get the other one where the neighbor comes to the door and she just like she's talking normally and then she's like, "Can you smell him?" You're like, "Oh my
Rotting.
god."
It's the daughter of
Bye, Evan. Anyway, now that Evan's gone, this movie sucks. I'm just kidding. No, this is this is good, but I get where he's going with it because yeah, there's a lot of imagery in this that that does mess with me. Even with all the messed up junk I've been watching recently, I still felt very viscerally like disturbed by the sewing needle scene, and I think that's just because I've always found sewing needles to be a rather like if you've actually ever held one and seen how thick they are and stuff, it's like this sucks. Like this would be awful to get stabbed with in any capacity, whether it's your arm, because it's almost very blunt in a way, and it's like it would really, really fucking blow. And she just starts sticking them in her eyeballs. It's like, fuck me. All right, I guess we're doing this. So that's what happens.
I
And
pressed the back button on my mouse by accident. Sorry about that.
hey, we've all done it, brother. We've all done it. Knitting needle. Yes, my bad.
Yeah, that's a Halloween reference. I'm kidding.
Yeah. It's I do think like
it's a 1 and 2.
I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty disgusting scene, but it's also like I don't know if it really added a ton. I felt like it went a little too, maybe a little too in your face towards the end. But I don't know.
The ranch help guy?
No,
the
eyeball scene.
I thought it was great.
Upsetting.
Like it was definitely one of the things that like because I mean, like, I guess you could say it with the goats and everything, but the fact that it's like you have a third party who I know she's been around and like she's been interacting with them constantly, but like, you know, she's not a member of the family or anything. And to have her get it, just again, like Alex said, shows everybody's on, like, nobody's safe. Everybody's on the table.
Like, maybe she'll be the one who's like not fucked up, but you're like, she'll probably still get hurt, but she's still like infected, if you will.
She's the reality anchor.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
She's the character that's specifically supposed to keep you in touch with reality outside. And the same thing with the phone. The phone is also a piece of that, which they don't trust as well. Bro. And so it's like those two pieces are like when those two things go and he's talking through the phone and then she does what she does and stabbing herself. It's like, well, okay, well, all hope is gone now.
Maybe my favorite scene of the entire movie is when she calls the priest's phone number.
Right.
Yeah. He just like has no idea what's going on. He's
Ma'am,
like,
I'm in Indiana. I don't know where.
That was so. I don't know. His reaction was super funny too.
And then it's like, when he starts going like, you sound exactly like my daughter, and like starts freaking out like, why would you say that? It's so unsettling. There's just this like sense of, you don't know what's going on here, you don't get to know what's going on here, you're getting tormented, and that's the end of it. It's such a good fucking scene, man.
Well, you can tell that he pissed off whoever the entity was, because the entity was not happy because they were not religious. They were not, they didn't, you know, and he was trying to convince him. And that's why I think he did the dad or the brother so bad, because like that pissed him off, their little conversation back and forth.
I remember my brother made such a good point about the dad's death, where he was saying that the reason he was so freaked out, he was like, the idea that there's something that you can see and then your immediate instinct is, I have to die now. The thought of something being able to switch your will to live that quickly really got to him. And I mean, it is a really unsettling idea where like he sees this thing and he's immediately like, nope.
Right.
Like that's fucking unnerving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
I like, because we've
madness.
seen stuff do that before, but like the thing that this movie does effectively is it's like it builds up to that. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's not something where it's like so many movies have done that thing where it's like you see the character and they're just like suddenly, oh, I'm gonna slice my own throat open because I gotta get out of here. It's like this movie does it the entire running of the film.
Yeah.
So that way when it does build to that, it's like so beyond fucked up and satisfying at the same time, because it's like that's a really smart play as a screenwriter, but it's also one of those things where it's like, this is really disturbing me and I don't like this. This is really upsetting. Like,
you know, I'm thinking about it now, why I think the first time I watched it, I just had, because, you know, the witch had been out before and all that, and the goats, and then like, you know, a lot of that feels so familiar. And then I saw that other movie with can't remember her name, chopping her fingers off. So those two elements, when I saw that in this movie, it felt like it took away from some of the vibe of it, you know. But upon rewatching it didn't affect me and bother me as much as much as it did the first time.
do you feel like at the time it was just something where you felt like a lot of these tropes had been done too recently?
I saw it in Color Out of Space, and then in
true.
another movie, it was what was it? Who's the chick who's in the bowling movie where Bill Murray and Woody Allen, or Woody from the fucking.
You're talking about Woody Harrelson.
She was in Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Nightmare on Elm Street. She's like the teacher.
Oh yeah,
I think her name. Lynn Shay. Thank you. She was in another movie where she chopped off her fingers too, and I was like, all of those at the same time. I was just like, okay, this is just too much. It's just happening too much now.
The more I think about it, this movie actually this and The Lodge would make for a really interesting back-to-back viewing.
Calm down, Ricky Coast. It's all right. You're gonna be okay.
The Grudge American.
Hang in there. You'll be all right.
I think that could be a really
picking on the witch. I was saying that it's borrowing from the witch.
Gonna shit on the witch. I didn't see that.
I literally said that this movie borrowed from the witch. It's not putting the witch down.
They're ripping into you.
Fuck off, dude. Jesus
Black
Christ.
Phillip gonna headbutt him. Fuck yeah, dude. Black Phillip, the worst goat to work with in Hollywood.
Yeah, sound like I'm
fucking watch this.
Complete asshole of a goat.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of goats in this, I'm sure. I wonder if any of them were as bad as that. It's just everything in this movie goes as badly as it possibly can. Like there is zero hope. There's no reprieve from anything. It's just, you know.
The only goat that's got anything like even close to Black Phillip, in my opinion, is going to be the When Evil Lurks goat.
Right, I was just going to say,
just because that's just
a good
pure
one.
evil.
That's like a really good one. But that one ends in a completely different way.
Yeah, that dude was like, bet.
Yeah.
Go on, bro, do it. Shoot it.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a great film.
There's some things to say about When Evil Lurks. Like there is some shakiness to the end of that movie, but this definitely kind of has that vibe about it. I definitely see the comparisons because it's on
I
a
do
ranch.
like this more overall.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I
do.
prefer When Evil Lurks, but this movie has
Yeah,
meant
me
a lot
too.
more to
Yeah.
Evan for a lot longer, so I understand where he's coming
This
from.
one does a lot with like nothing, like very little, like you know what I mean. So like the vibe in it is like it's a very talented like element that he's able to toy and play with. You know, so it's a dream case scenario for an indie film. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Most people cannot even like handle fucking that kind of vibe at all.
No.
Like I've seen so many movies that try to do it, and it's so like visual and not. It has everything to do with the sound, the camera work, you know, like waiting for your scares, you know what I mean? Like playing off, like you see a shadow in the background or something. Like those kind of things like really build that tension.
Totally. They do such a good job of making that like lurking presence of something
Dude.
feel like, and one of the best ways that they do that here is the sound of the wolves outside, which never sounds natural. Every time you hear the wolves, I don't know, it sounds like distorted and untrustworthy. And I love that the priest shows up too after you hear the sound of a wolf howling outside. You're like, where the hell is this? And then you go over, and the guy's standing there. And he had talked about like, you know, the wolf coming into their homes. Like that, there's these parallels with the presence of this thing being there. I really enjoyed the sound, the ambient sound of this movie. I thought was so effective, and the score too is fucking haunting.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the score, I don't think the you know the tension wouldn't have been as good.
It wouldn't have worked as well. No.
Yeah. But yeah, like
definitely adds to a lot of those moments. But I mean, that's a lot of great horror does that though. Like we have to admit, like if you're gonna do something that's gonna really stand the test of time when it comes to your scares, I feel like a lot of it comes down to two things, and that's your sound design and your score. If you keep it interesting and you don't just go with the same old, I think that you're able to strike a much deeper chord with people.
Totally.
there's also the use of absence of sound too. Like, you know, like being able to put that in a movie is a art as well. Like, and I think a lot of sound designers who do a really good job know how to handle that, you know, like a certain way. But like you mentioned the scene with the dad and seeing the mom out the window.
Yeah.
There's like a part in the movie where she's standing in the corner, right? That is so subtle. And I love that little element of it. And why I think it's so impactful is because that guy is the naysayer. He's the one that doesn't believe any of this bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's why he also pisses off the devil because, you know, or whoever the guy is, you know, because he's like, oh, I'll make you a believer one way or another. You may not believe in God, but I'm going to make you believe in the devil.
You're going to believe in something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's so cool. It really, it's good that they put those kind of archetypes in the movie like that. I think, and that's a good sign of a writer, you know, a good writer anyway, is when they know that you have to put every type of viewer into the movie in a way.
I also liked, you often get times with like these kinds of ghost stories, if you want to call it that, where the characters will be in denial for a very long time. And it can sometimes get frustrating that they're just like ignoring very clear red flags. They'll like see something out the window and they're like, I'm tired. And then they'll move on.
I'm sleepy.
But like, I love how in this movie, he's like, I don't believe in anything. And then he sees that shit out the window and then he's like, I'm scared. I want to leave. Like you get that switch really quickly. I didn't feel like they were behaving in a way that you often see with this kind of thing. And I very much appreciated that.
Yeah, it's it definitely, I think that's one of the better elements too, is they don't try to make him the naysayer, like the one who's like, you know, they don't try to like lean on that too long, because I feel like it's another trope that I just can't stand with, you know, possession horror and stuff, is just like people not believing people. Like it has its moments, and there are obviously classic films that hinge on that entirely, and I love it, but like, I don't know, if you're gonna be a modern day possession film, you got to have like something really like interesting, and you have to have a different angle. You can't do the same shit anymore.
One of the big things with them now is you can't spend too much time with characters not believing the shit that's going on, because we've seen that for so fucking long. And like, one of my least favorite things now is spending time with characters who are getting caught up on information that the audience already has.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Watching an audience, like, I hate watching the characters figure out stuff that we know. I find that so fucking boring because there's no audience engagement there.
Well,
So
no, I
you
feel
can
like some
see
films
past
have
that.
done that really well. It just
Totally.
yeah.
Well, when they're using it to play with the audience to make you think that, yeah, that's the cool, like, it's
Yeah,
like the
absolutely.
fridge, like, when they always do the slow fridge thing where they're like the music builds right as they're opening the fridge, and then they're like, oh my god, it's gonna be behind it, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's
Sure.
not.
Yeah, toying with your expectations. You have to be able
Yeah.
to twist those things.
What up, Proud?
What's up?
That's why Scream is a classic.
They do stuff like that in
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, that's kind of
Five
an
went
example
a
I was
little
thinking
too
of.
far with
Actually.
it to me, where they had like 7 fake outs in that one scene with the blonde-haired dude when he's in his house by himself, and he's like, they have the fridge and then they have the cupboard. and
Right.
it's like, always gonna
Oh, are you talking about in 5?
be yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I know
yeah.
what you're talking about. Yeah,
They did it like 7 times.
they did it in a couple of
It was so
movies, couple of
frustrating.
the Scream movies, because like
Yeah.
I think
Hold
they did
up.
it in part 2 as
We
well.
gotta be
and-
careful, fellas. We can't be bad mouthing these Scream reboots. Otherwise, we'll suffer the wrath.
Wrath. I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, we can't talk
People get
about
really
it. That's right.
defensive about these
Painful.
movies, man. It's crazy.
That's why I'm kind of putting off talking about the Scream movies because they're just not really my
Because
thing.
like that's why I
like
think
the last
one of the
one a
best
lot.
parts
It
about
sucks.
our like where we're sitting right now is like if you've been riding with us since day one, you know that Luke and I are not fans of either of the new ones. Like 6 was better than 5, but it
6
was
more than
still like by the end I just didn't give a shit. And it's like that's the thing. Like I like the Scream movies, but
I
like
didn't- Yeah, I didn't
I-
like that one guy in it.
I
That's
don't-
why I didn't like 6.
I don't like these new ones. I think that they're just not doing enough for me. And that's just really where I sit with it. I'm curious about 7, but I'm not
Okay, to be
like
wrong.
I don't know. The only thing that'll win me over is like if 7 is like the new nightmare of the Scream franchise. See,
That
I've heard that
might-
rumor and I
yeah.
think that's awesome. I'd love that.
I think 7 is the closest to number 1 that we've ever gotten, and it's not even good as perfect as
7
7.
isn't even
The
out
first
yet,
one.
brother.
or the 6. Sorry,
Okay.
6th one,
yeah, I think the 6th one is like
I would put 4
entertaining on a
above
level
5.
that is like new and fresh and felt
Mm.
different than like the first movie did for me.
Yeah.
The
For
other
me,
movies in the
it's,
franchise have never felt that fresh or
For
new.
me, they're just too far up their own asses now. They're not referencing the horror genre. They're referencing earlier Scream movies now. So like,
Scream 8 is already in the works.
yeah. I don't know.
It's gonna be stew. There's gonna be cloned stews.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
If you want my ranking of this, like I will always say that like Scream 1 best, Scream 4 is the second best. Then I would go
What's my
2, 3, 6, 5.
You know what my problem is? Aside from the first movie, and this might be, I don't even know if I should say this. There's not a single reveal in this franchise that I've enjoyed.
Yeah, that's what I'm
aside
saying.
from the
Like,
first
yeah,
movie.
a lot of it.
None of
What-
the killer reveals have been like, oh shit! I wasn't
Saul's
like,
done it better
I
in a lot of
think
ways.
the first one's like a classic. Like I love
That's what I'm
that.
saying. The first one.
Okay,
I
I thought you were saying like the
No, no.
franchise overall. I'm like the
Saying the
first one's
first
really
one.
good, dude. What are you
The
talking
first
about?
one
Like
I love, but every single other one, I've been like, eh. I
So
don't
these
care.
Scream movies really remind us of Dark and the Wicked. So it's
There we
really
yeah, I don't
Sorry,
know where
bring
we
it
got on that tangent, but yeah, no. Dark and the Wicked.
Oh, we were talking about the use of scares and
Yeah,
and
okay,
how
that's how
and
we
how
got in
like
there.
if the
Yeah.
audience knows that the reveal's happening, and so then it came to Scream naturally because
Right.
Yeah. I mean, other things that I could talk about for like
No.
my first time watch on this, like just experiences, is like I know I kind of already hinted towards this. I'm really excited to explore more of this and just kind of see what they would do. But I also think that like the biggest takeaway I have from this is like I've seen Brian Bartino do like a grounded slasher in the sense of like The Strangers.
Yep.
And then now seeing him handle Possession, I was curious to ask you fellas, like, what is something that you'd like to see Brian Bartino do going forward? Like, what's a kind of a subgenre or maybe like a style of horror that you'd like to see him tackle next?
I think it's too early for me to really know. I'm just kind of good with like him doing pretty straightforward stuff. It seems. Strangers is pretty straightforward. This is pretty
He's very
straightforward.
good at, like, here's the concept. I'm just gonna do that for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Like, he's not
that's what
into,
it
like,
is.
let's do some weird twist on it. It's like, here's my thing. We're gonna do this, and it's just gonna be done really well and in a very disturbing way. And I really enjoy that with his approach to these movies.
And you know, I'm gonna just say, I think like for me personally, I'd love to see him do like a sci-fi horror at this point, just because I know it would be very, like you guys are saying, very simple, very concept driven. I'd love to see what he does with that, like maybe
Okay.
something taking place on a ship, or in like a base or something, or even just like if he wants to go crazier with that, like they could be just a different species of people dealing with something. I don't know.
I'd like to
But-
see him do a crazy person movie where
A
people
crazy
go
person,
crazy,
maybe? Oh, like the
losing their
sadness?
minds. Yeah, not the sadness necessarily, just losing their minds in general.
Yeah.
I like when people play with atmosphere and psychology of like the mind and how they lose track of reality in mid sentences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's not very many movies that do it very, very well.
He could probably do that pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like he could probably toy with something like that a little bit, and just kind of lose reality. I don't know where, how he would do it. It doesn't necessarily have to be like H.P. Lovecraft or,
Yeah.
Madness or anything, or like, Jabaz's movie or whatever.
Yeah. Botmax, by the way, something
I was
does
about to
happen
say,
in
yeah.
that scene. You can see the silhouette of the devil standing behind her in the door frame. It's very subtle, and I actually didn't notice it until the second time I watched the movie, but there is something there.
Oh, I agree with this. Yeah, I think he'd do
I
well
was
with
gonna
something
say a
like
good,
that,
serial killer movie. I think
like a
he'd do
detective kind of
Yeah.
driven story.
like a murder mystery, but a really fucked up one.
Ooh, Brian Bartino does a season of True Detective.
I would watch that.
Maybe like
Mhm.
a cult film or something, though.
Yeah,
But yeah, if he
That's
does
where
if
I
he
would
does
lean.
True Detective, he can go into any of that. And
the
it all
sci-fi
works.
doesn't interest me as much, but I think like a cult film or a
Because you
serial
hate
killer.
sci-fi.
Yeah, because
You
I
don't know
mean,
how to
it may be a
live.
little
Pretty
too
fun.
meaty. Might get lost in the like information
Yeah,
if it's like too, investigative.
sure.
I forget what movie I just watched recently that they. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I don't want to bring that up. I'm sure that'll upset somebody.
Okay, fair enough.
The Witch? No, I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
No,
That one was for RJ Coast.
yeah, there you go. A movie where someone's like traveling and comes across a cult or something like that could be. I think
A lost town,
something
maybe.
like that. Yeah, something with like a dying town, sort of like these people stop there on the way.
There's an old curse on the town, and
Doesn't
I
even have to
saw
be
that
Even
episode
just
of,
if the cult believes in the thing. I don't even think there has to be anything actually supernatural going on, but I just think like a grounded cult movie he could do very well.
I think so
Mhm.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he could
those are
play
really
with a lot of those
unsettling.
angles.
so-
They
I
are.
think like him handling detective stuff would be pretty good though. I'm actually really
Yeah.
hooked on that. I think like because I think some of the best detective stories are the ones that aren't trying to go like Prisoners. You know what I mean? Like we're not doing anything that's like
Mm,
taking it too far to the extreme of like it's out of this world. Like I can't believe this. It is just an abduction story, and like that's what they're working through. I think if he did something like that, it could be really good with a little bit more of a
Yeah.
horror tinge to it.
I mean, always for me, like I always adore when a movie has these people who are like devout believers in something, but it never confirms if the thing that they believe in is actually real or not. I find that really unsettling, and I think that Bertino could ride that line very well of like you have this devout religious group who is like believing in some really fucked up shit, but we never really know if it's like we don't see anything that confirms if it's real or not. You just have this kind of dark
Yeah.
loop. Because what's scary is that they're motivated enough to do some fucked up things, whether it's real or not.
Have
they kind of made a movie like that though. I go ahead if you want to say. I think it was called Spell.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna
Remember that
say
one where the like family takes a plane and they go to see his dead father, and then there's like the old
I haven't seen
Appalachian
Spell.
mountains.
I can honestly say I have not seen that.
Mm.
Anyway,
I was gonna say, Evan, have you seen Red State
No.
Mm,
from
yeah, I
Kevin
used
Smith?
to watch that.
Yeah, it's very different Kevin Smith movie. It's kind of like when he did Tusk. How Tusk is pretty different from all of his other stuff. Red State's really good.
That came up with a news site I wasn't looking for.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
man. Propaganda.
Spell is the movie I was thinking of too. It's an underrated gem. It's a little hokey at the end, but I fucking love that. It's so entertaining, dude. There's a fucking gnarly foot scene in the movie that is like one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
Right on.
Mm.
It's a harrowing tale. You guys gotta watch it if you get a chance. It's a little hokey.
It's fine. I don't mind
I
that.
forget. Oh, the director is the guy who did Mark Tonderai. He did the Lock and Key. He also worked on
Okay.
House at the End of the Street. He's done a couple things, but that one I thought was actually one of his better ones. Yes, Artie, that's the one.
Hell
Yeah, and a lot of people were worried that it was like riding that line of like tasteless but the guy who did it like was really into the lore of the old Appalachian voodoo that I didn't even know existed until I saw that fucking movie, to be honest with you. So
yeah, I mean, overall, I gotta say, Evan, this was a very good pick to kick off kind of the subject of just like covering films individually when it comes to
which
this.
I'm excited to do more of.
Oh, absolutely. And I actually think that means that the next one, because technically we were supposed to do these channel by channel, but now we're going to be kind of off unless we do this. So the next one is going to be Alex.
so
he's going to do a pick, and then we're going to come back to Evan, and then I'll get a pick a few
Can I
weeks
tell
down.
you know what excites me the most about the idea of what we're doing now is the fact that this is going to mean that I have to watch movies that Alex recommends to me, and that's actually really good because I tend to really procrastinate with recommendations. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it.
I know.
If I have to watch it for the show, that means I'm gonna fucking sit down and do it. And I can't wait because every time you recommend something, I gotta fucking watch this.
Well, there's gonna be you gotta watch what I just reviewed recently first. So, but I'll tell you, I will let you guys know when we decide to do it. It'll be before 2 weeks,
like right away. Oh yeah, what's the schedule? Are we doing next week or are we?
No, it'll be the following.
Okay,
It's
still 2 weeks. We just pushed it off a week. So.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We can do that.
All right. Well, yeah, just I guess Alex, do you have any picks that you want to?
Not off the top of my head, but I will announce it and we can share it across the whole.
Can I point out
before
we close off?
I have a couple ideas.
Oh yeah, we still have 10 minutes. I was just saying, I just was wrapping up that to see if he had a preview for it, but if not, no, we can still talk about a couple other things.
I want to mention that we still have no news about The Strangers Chapter 2.
We got a trailer, remember?
That was 3 months ago.
Yeah, I don't think we're
Okay,
gonna
I was
see
like,
that.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So this is kind of funny that you bring that up. A couple days ago, I was at work and I was thinking about it, and I thought that I kind of just hallucinated that Strangers Chapter 2 trailer with the scene in the, what is it, like a Jeep or whatever.
Yeah,
I was sitting there like, there hasn't been a trailer. I'm just making that up. There's no way.
It was so bad.
And then I clicked, I literally type it into YouTube and it comes up and I'm like, oh, I've seen this. Yep, this is dog shit. Okay.
That was supposed to come out in the fall and they just never said anything. And actually Artie makes a good point. Maybe we'll get another trailer now this week because I brought it up.
That's true. We are going to get one now.
But it was supposed to come out in the fall and then they just utterly ghosted the entire horror audience, and then Shadow dropped a trailer randomly 3 months ago and then have said nothing else since.
Yeah, I mean, the other one was pretty lambasted, so like I kind of get it. Like they're just trying to,
they went back for reshoots. I get it. Totally.
They're just trying to figure out how to, they're trying to figure out what the fuck they're going to do, because they're like, well, I don't think they're going to like this movie. And they already know now it's they had everybody's interest, right? But it's going to be nothing but an incline, like a very steep incline uphill battle for them going forward. Like that other one is so bad.
What the fuck did they think was going to, who the fuck involved in Strangers Chapter 1 sat down and watched that fucking final cut of that movie and was like, yeah, this is going to grab some people. What
good.
the fuck are you talking about? It was
Yeah,
terrible.
It's pretty rough, man. It's one of those ones where it's like I don't know, dude. It's I still think it's like a fever dream of a movie. I think like if the Mousetrap hadn't come out, that would probably be the worst movie of 2024.
Feels like Final Destination. Now they will mention it. Final Destination just got a trailer. I didn't know.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, it did. How do you feel about that? By the way, it was just a
excited.
scene.
I love those
it was
movies.
a scene.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting trailer because they're just like cutting a scene from the movie into it. But like I love Final Destination. They're so much fun.
Oh, I'm all for it. I think this is going to
I'm
be a
stoked.
good
I can't
time.
wait.
It's
I
been
can't
long
figure out how to
enough.
share the link. I forget, dude. I don't use Discord as much as I used to.
Oh yeah, saw the trailer for Chapter 1 every time. Oh my god, they marketed the shit out of that movie so much, and I remember getting out of it, and Dylan and I got out around the same time, and we both messaged our group chat, and we were just like, "What the fuck was that?"
Luke and I
Later-
were cackling
later,
like
Steven.
schoolgirls at that screening, dude. Like we were. Oh, it was so goofy,
God
dude.
damn, it was bad. My plan is to, because part of the reason I want to know is because I'm scheduling reviews of both Funny Games movies for the next two Strangers. Because I'm like, I was going to review like good home invasion movies each time a new Strangers movie comes out.
You should review Martyrs.
I have it on the schedule. When is that on? I have Martyrs on the schedule in April.
Yeah, I
So,
love those movies, man. I love the Funny Games movies. They're so fucked up.
You should
I also
review
have Eden
Inside.
Lake on the list for this year, by the way. So I'm also looking forward to checking that out.
You should watch Inside for Christmas.
I've seen it.
Have you seen Inside?
I have.
Yeah, it's a home invasion movie. If I've ever
Yeah,
seen
it's
it.
a great one, actually.
I
Yeah.
know, it's really
fucked
good.
up. It's rough.
I'm trying to think of other ones that are like along those lines. It's very rare to have like something as straightforward like that. Like it's.
Totally.
I love mind games in movies, though. Them. That's a pretty decent one. If you want to watch a fucked up like kids versus like parents,
Okay.
like they go to a vacation spot. I think it is. It's on Shudder. Just got put up on Shudder. I think.
Right.
It's not as good as like those other ones, but it's not bad.
Mm.
Yeah, it already brings up Panic Room, so that's a good one. As far as thrillers go, kind of like those.
Yeah,
Trap in there.
that's a little bit more mainstream, so it's not as violent. But yeah, it's a good movie.
Yep.
Well,
Oh, there you
Cynthia,
go, Alex. I got a comment on my coffee table video. This movie was boring as fuck, and I waited for the entire movie for something to happen. One of the worst hyped up movies I've ever watched.
They have no emotions. They're
They're not
void of
people.
human compassion. I wish I could explain that. A lot of people thought I was lying about it, but
It's
they
like
just
I'm
don't
waiting
get
for
it.
something to happen. I'm like,
Alex is
something
like,
happens.
that's an Elon bot right there. That's not a real human.
You're a fucking robot, all
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I was watching some of your video because I actually used a bit of footage from your video in my.
Oh, did you?
I was
Oh,
mentioning that you had recommended it to me, so I was
Oh, okay.
grabbed some footage from that, and I saw you just being like, "I'm not going to tell you anything about this movie."
Yeah, he really likes to mention
Yeah.
you and Luke by name, but never mentions me.
What the fuck?
No, I'm looking forward to watching your video.
What?
so-
What? Nothing.
I mention
No.
you in videos all the time.
No, no.
Yes, he
They must be
does.
getting on the
I've
cutting
heard
room
him
floor.
mention it.
Because I've been keeping track of everybody, and if they don't say my name in every single one of their
Whenever I
videos,
talk about Splattercast, I say my buddies Dylan and Luke from Splattercast. All right.
doesn't count. I need some individuality. All right. I want some-
He's like,
Can't
I
do
am the fucking champ. I am the leader.
You're not getting the 2-for-1 special. Oh, Necro brings up your next.
Your next is
That's
really
another
good. but I
Great.
don't think That's as straightforward as Alex was talking about. You were talking about just like very like to the point because your next has like some of those like twists and reveals.
Yeah,
and stuff, and
But so does
still think it's a great home
Inside does
invasion.
a little bit.
it's great. The second site release, I haven't watched it yet, but I got it, the box set. And
I
it's-
got
We
that
both
too,
have
yeah.
it then. Damn.
I
should've
reviewed it
bought
because they
that.
sent it to me, but it was like one of the very few ones.
I haven't seen the movie in years, but it's sitting over on the shelf, and I should revisit it.
Pretty good one.
Solid.
Simon, what's his name?
That one dude,
Yeah, Simon
one guy.
that did the fuck. What's his name? He's friends with the guy that they did the Blair Witch together.
I don't remember, man.
Simon Barrett and
Simon
Adam
Barrett.
Wingard.
Yeah, I like Simon Barrett. He's like self-deprecating as shit, but I like him a lot. Like I love his sarcasm.
Yeah, I interviewed him a couple months ago for Azrael.
Really?
He's nice. Yeah, nice guy. It's up on the channel.
Yeah, I got to meet him briefly for his seance movie that I think he
Mhm.
did with the girls at the boarding school. And yeah, it's like a killer movie. It's kind of like his version of Scream in a boarding house. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, it's called Seance.
Well,
I
this
saw it in
because I haven't watched Funny Games yet, so.
But I got to meet him and I was like, dude, I really love the Blair Witch. I love Blair Witch. And I know that you get so much shit for that movie and you've gotten so much shit. He's like, yeah, I'm over it now. And I was like, yeah, but dude, like they're wrong. They're wrong. I like the movie. I really like the movie. And I think it's actually a really good interpretation. And he was like, well, if you like that, I was like, what were you going to do for the sequel if you were going to do it? He's like, well, if you've ever played the video game, that is using a lot of the parts of the sequel that we were going to make.
Yeah.
A dude
like,
and his
oh,
dog
shit.
running around looking for him.
Yeah, like the combat veteran.
Pretty cool.
Well, then there you go. They got to finish
Lance
their
was not a
story
bad
after
movie. I wasn't over the moon about it though, so it was just. It's not a bad one. He hasn't had a banger for a directorial yet because that was like his first directorial debut, I think.
Hmm.
But he writes some pretty cool ideas, even
The
if you
dog was
don't
the witch
always agree with them.
all. Or he
Oh,
says.
shit.
That's how it ends. That's how the Blair Witch ends. The
He
dog
just floats at the end.
Mm-hmm. I'm all for it. But
Anyway.
hell yeah, fellerines. We've done it again. We've gotten to the end of another episode. This is a good time. I enjoy talking about this movie. Admittedly, my excitement level wasn't as high because I watched this 3 weeks ago now, and the day we were going to record it, I was like, I had everything prepped in my brain, and I didn't write anything down. So
It
I was
all
just
worked
kinda
out.
It happens.
Yeah.
I had
But-
something and I lost it, so I had to try to piece it together while you were talking about it. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's very well done. I definitely enjoyed this. But yeah, we'll be announcing Alex's pick here.
It'll be something thoughtful. Something we
we'll
can
try to
dig
get it
into.
at least. Let's try to get it at minimum a week before, so that way they have time to watch it.
Maybe we could do The Invitation.
I'd be down. I haven't watched the
I
Invitation.
love that movie,
Evan,
and
I
he's
assume you
never
haven't
seen it.
No, I haven't.
All right,
That's a movie he needs to see too. You know what I mean?
I'll do whatever. Just let
Karen
me know.
Kusama, Corinne Kusama. Sorry.
Yep, she's great. So we'll do it. Yeah, Invitation, everybody. That'll be in 2 weeks. So we'll be doing the.
What year is it, by
Invitation
the way,
this
just so
year.
they know?
2018, I think.
Because there's a couple Invitation movies.
Or is that 2016?
Because I was thinking there's that
2015,
vampire one that
holy
just came
shit.
out. Okay,
2015.
2015. Cool. I will check that out. Yeah,
That's
Alex,
kind of
why
a
do I
home
see a piece of
invasion-y
broken
feel
glass
movie
on the-
too. So
Alex, why do I see a piece of broken glass on the cover?
What?
It's not that kind of movie, bro.
You doing this again? Piece of
No.
shit. All right, well,
Is this how broken? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Invitation 2015, guys. And I think it's up on Tubi, Peacock, Roku, Prime Video. You can watch it
It's
everywhere.
all over. It's
Awesome.
everywhere.
I'll give it a watch.
Hell yeah.
2 weeks from now.
The guy from Haunting of Hill House is in, is he? No, that's a different guy. He just looks a lot like him. Never mind. Ignore me.
A lot of this stuff in the movie was a very improv, I believe. Some of it was, anyway.
Sweet. Okay.
So,
I'm excited.
Hell yeah. All righty, folks. Well, that's going to wrap us up here. So
Hell yeah.
definitely let everybody
Fuck
know,
all of you.
fellas, starting there with Alex. What do you got going on the channel?
I just put up a new video of a bunch of unconventional love horror movies that are disturbing. I think these are Valentine's Day movies, but not in the sense of necessary relationship girl guy. These are people that have fallen in love with things that they shouldn't have, or other things. I try to make a pretty wide list, but there is one pick on there that is kind of like a typical love story. Maybe two, but they're all a little different, so you should check it out. And I got a haul video coming up soon for one of the second out of 4.
Hell yeah. There you go. Evan, what you got going on after your coffee table video here, sir?
Yeah, so just dropped the coffee table today, so check that out if you're curious about my thoughts on a pretty fucked up movie. But then my next couple I'm excited about, and especially one that I want to mention because it's going to be something very different from what I've done. So my next video that I'm working on is The Substance, which has been my most requested thing for quite a while now. Very excited about that. I finished the script for it today, and it is over 9,000 words long, so it's a long video. And then I have The First Omen, which I've also had a ton of requests for, and I'm very excited to do because that was one that was very high up on my list of movies last year, and I've covered all the other movies in the Omen franchise, so looking forward to getting a deep dive on this. But then one that I'm excited about, I'm a little hesitant to confirm it, but I feel like if I confirm it, it's going to make me commit to trying something different, and I feel like I need to do that. I'm going to be covering The Last of Us, the video game. I just recently finished a playthrough of that, decided to try it on Grounded because I wanted to see what that was like. So I got that done recently, and I'm planning on covering hopefully both of them. I can't confirm that I will be doing part 2 right away, but I will be doing it. I am going to be sharing my thoughts on Last of Us 2, which is always a...
So you're going to do gameplay and breakdown at the same time?
No, it's going to be similar to the kinds of things that I do now, just like standard video essay talking about like stories and stuff like that. But then, I'll just have the gameplay footage running in the back
Sure,
of whatever
yeah.
relevant story
In
footage.
part, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to trying that out because I love The Last of Us and I'm excited to talk about it. So.
Hell yeah. And we just had Luke drop a new video today going over 5 serial killer movies you've never heard of. So he just went and talked to some deeper cut serial killer films that he loves. I thought it was really well done. I definitely agree with most of his picks. Yeah, as far as stuff we have coming up, we have our review for The Gorge. The embargo will lift on Thursday for that. So you get to see both Luke and I's full thoughts on that bad boy. And then if all goes well, which it should, by next Monday, I will be releasing, and I'll just say it now so that way it's committed. I will be releasing the 5 films that are way more disturbing than Solo, 120 Days of Sodom. I have a couple more pieces to just one, I think 1.5 more films I have to watch. So, okay. And then I'll be moving on that. And that'll be a fun one. I actually am excited because I'm doing something a little different as well with the editing of those videos. I'm going to make them slightly longer, and I have a little idea that I have one thing done for it, and I think it's going to work out well. So we'll see. If not, I'll never do it again. So,
don't say that. You'll probably get a hair up your ass at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I just got to work it out. I think it's pretty simple. It's not like I'm reinventing the wheel or anything. I just thought it would add a little bit of humor to it. And I feel like I got a couple of genuinely good moments. So
there you go.
All righty. Awesome.
All right, guys.
Well, that's it, folks. We'll see you guys later. Definitely keep it right here. Remember to subscribe to the new channel.
Watch the invitation. 2015.
Beyond the Splatter Graves channel. Subscribe to that. And
thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. So until next time,
thank you, lovely people.
We appreciate you all stopping by. And remember to always long live the void, stay scared, and we hope you've enjoyed your stay.
That was smooth as fuck.